avoiding the blizzards and ice and all that stuff. Happy to join you guys again on a Monday night. I don't think Lord Mattias, is going to be with us. He was feeling a little under the weather. And this is kind of a wrap up session of our recent Shadowdark campaign. So joining me is Jeff, Death Angel Shadow, as you know him, and Mr. James Bacon of Better with Bacon.
Hello, hello.
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing?
Doing
How
good.
about you?
Trying not to freeze.
Yeah, it's cold down here in Houston, as I was saying, but a lot of my work stuff was shut down today. I think a lot of people couldn't go to work, so it was almost like a snow day, but I'll take that. So I got to get a little work done on gaming, which I was happy with. I see our recently departed GM is here in the. Let me put the chat up there because he's in there already snarking away at us. Let's see.
Hey, Chubby, what's up?
Recently dearly departed.
Yeah, dearly departed. Sorry, that doesn't sound very good. Departed from the live stream. Let me be specific. Yeah, hey, Michael. There's Michael Stengel from Chthonic Musings and a calculus professor. Robert Santon, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, so a couple of people trickling in. I wouldn't be surprised if our viewership is even a little lighter tonight. But just to recap, we're not going to be playing a game. We are going to start a new game, right, Jeff, next Monday?
Yeah, next Monday.
That's the plan. We'll let you know if it changes, but we're going to pick up some Shadowdark and a new mini campaign that Death Angel Shadow is going to GM for us. And I think you were saying it's been a while since you've GM'd, or have you ever GM'd Shadowdark before?
I've never GM'd Shadowdark, so it'll be my first go around at it. I DM'd a lot of 5e and a bunch of 3.5, 3.0, and
Man, you'll be right at home. You've played enough there; it'll feel really comfortable. So
yeah.
No worries there. Looking forward to it, though. What adventure? Do you have that adventure that we're going to be playing? Maybe we can show them that.
Yeah, I've got. I'm thinking we're going to run with.
There we are.
This here. This is from Tom Wilson. For those that know the name and can't place it, he's the creator of ShireCon. So. This is a Kickstarter that he did a few months ago, and pretty quick actually. It came out really quick. He filled it and it shipped it, and didn't have to pay anything extra for shipping or do any of the whole going through and getting it printed. So that was kind of a interesting, great surprise there that he, the way he did his. I think he uses Lulu or something like that to print, but. He's got stuff both on Lulu and DriveThru, so
has all of his ducks in a row before he's ready to.
Yeah, man, he is on the ball. Well, he's like a firefighter and all kinds of other things. So he's very, very detail oriented. So
I've heard Chubby, Greg, and others talk about that. I'm sure you guys have too. That when you're doing a Kickstarter, I have no desire to ever do a Kickstarter, but if I were, they say have all the writing done, be well into your editing, if not completed, and the only thing you really want to wait on is some artwork to get it launched and fired off and ready to go, so that people aren't waiting forever and you lose some reputation there. But yeah, Michael says Tom knows how to get things done. Michael,
yeah, he does.
Chthonic Musings 188, so he's familiar with it as well. Yeah, ShireCon is one of those. Bacon, you don't get to too many cons, do you? If I remember right.
No. I once upon a time used to go to cons in my youth, but I don't do much conning these days.
Well, that's a different thing altogether. But convention going, we'll take it to mean convention going. Yeah, I don't either, really. I mean, when I was younger, I did comic stuff and other things like that, but never these role-playing cons. So really, North Texas last June was my introduction, and it was great. Met a ton of people. I've talked many times about how cool North Texas is, and I'm all pre-bought and room and everything. That my bags are literally packed by the door for 5 months from now, waiting. No, not that bad, but it was a lot of fun, and I look forward to going. I would like to do more, but three young guys like us were right, all in the middle of building our careers and
young,
in the prime of our life.
Yeah, the prime rib of our life, with horseradish sauce. Hey everybody, I see. Let's see. Chubby says, I'm going to kickstart a $5 million project with no writing done. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, you wouldn't be the first one, Chubby.
He wouldn't be the first one, but I also know he's,
I know he's joking.
He's funning us there. So why don't we wait for Chubby to leave, and then we'll start picking apart ShadowRim.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I think we can all say overwhelmingly, nobody had played it before, right? I know no one had. None of us had.
No, I hadn't played ShadowRim. I'm familiar with Skyrim, but I'd never played ShadowRim.
Did you play Skyrim?
I had back about 10 years ago, but when it came out, I picked it up, and then I got busy trying to finally get around to getting my degree, and that was that took priority, and so I think I've got about 700 hours, it says, in playtime, and of that only about maybe 60 hours is mine. The rest was my kids. So
schedules get busy and all that, and video games suck up a lot of time. I think even more than role-playing games.
Time sinks. Yeah, big time sinks.
Yeah, so it was, I think, overwhelmingly a great response to using ShadowRim as a setting. I'm not familiar. I was not familiar. I'd never played Skyrim other than knowing the name and knowing that everybody loved the music and kind of the type of game it was. My son was probably playing it back in the day and saw it in passing in his room or something. But I never got into it, so there was a little bit of a learning curve. But I put some notes together, and I shared couple of topics with you guys today just to run through, and we can comment on what we thought of various parts of the game. But I was not familiar. I can't remember if I'd ever played a classless game, and I don't mean Chubby has no class. I mean that's a different topic for a different night. But see how fun this is, Greg, when you're not here and you can't comment. All you can do is put comments on the chat. It's good. So it's a classless system, though. So you're not playing a magic user or fighter, priest, etc. You're playing a collection of, I guess, character types. We really were defined by our sign, right? Was the main
and our race. I mean,
our race.
If we stuck to our sign, then we were defined by it. But and I don't think any of us did this, but there is the opportunity to switch signs as you level up, so you can really build a very eclectic sort of character.
Yeah, by the time we got to, what do we get up to? 4th level, 5th level, 4th level, something like that.
4th, I think 4th.
Yeah, it incrementally was more and more of a cost. If you're going to change signs, you definitely would want to do it at a lower level, because the higher you get, the more cost there is associated with it. So.
That's actually what I was going to do. I was the Vela, which is like the ring. I forgot which one it is. I actually have it open. We can go to the PDF if we want. And I was going to do that to try to pick up some different types of spells, but I didn't get there. And then I realized that it's whatever 150 gold pieces, per level that we were. And by then it was like, I don't have that kind of money. Not after carousing. And carousing was cool. That was very Shadowdarky. That was a new thing Greg brought over.
Well, the carousing was very interesting too, because he tied like hirelings into carousing. Mm-hmm. That's how we picked up Rolf, who then in turn picked up another Rolf, and then I picked up a secondary Rolf. It was a very very consistent rolling, I guess we'll say, in that regard. And the other two ended up dying really quick in the next scene. But I thought it was neat that you could carouse to a point where, like, I don't know, maybe you're doing what you're doing in a location, and you just kind of pick up a guy who you hit it off really well with. And they just are very zealous about following you around and being friends. And I loved Rolf. I thought Rolf added quite a bit to the campaign.
Yeah, he was steady. It was like having, and we needed that. We needed the extra player, the extra muscle there. So
it was a bit of a dog, but he played the piano well.
Rolf, not Rolf.
Another Muppet Show jokes come from. I don't know where those.
Weren't we cracking those for a while in at least one episode?
Yeah, I don't remember what the origin of that is. It's probably best if forgotten, I'm guessing.
And I think my response was the same.
Yeah,
Rolf,
pretty much, yes. But
hey, Flint, what's going on? Good to see you, Paul. He said he bets this live doesn't go 5 hours. I bet you're correct. It does not. It does not. But we're going to be back to playing Shadowdark next Monday, and Jeff is going to GM it for us, so that'll be exciting.
I'm gonna take a stab at it.
And I actually did. Hey, Mike Melnick, how are you? I did actually reach out to Paul. His schedule is really tough. I would love to play Shadowdark with him, or anything again, and I'm sure we will at some point. But and if all of you didn't notice, I hope you did. We pushed it back an hour. We started at 7 Central tonight instead of 6. And
yeah,
I don't know. Let us know if you like the later start time. It gives you a chance to get a bite of dinner or finish up work. I know, Jeff, sometimes you're still working and technically working while you're playing the first 30 minutes or whatever. So, well,
I told them, I need to get out.
By now, it won't matter.
But yeah, normally I work until 8. So, and sometimes I work much later. So, but that's I thought the character generation thing was kind of interesting because I know everybody's going to be shocked for my sacrilege, but I've never done a 3d6 straight down the line, ever.
Really? Wow.
That's the first time I've ever done that. It's always been 46, drop the lowest, automatic rerolls on ones. In 30 years, we've always done that way. Every table I've been at. So, except when we were playing a different system that was D10 based or something.
6 down the line, do it for you. I mean, were you?
No. I mean, I just went with it. I didn't care. I wanted to have fun.
Yeah, usually we don't play these things long enough that if you have a really crappy, challenging character, you're only in it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. This one just went a little longer, maybe than we anticipated, thanks to Chubby sticking with us and playing it that long. But
yeah, he tried his hardest to take us out that last episode before before last, and I think we made him go regroup and have to think twice about it and try harder. Throwing that dragon at us and forcing us underground, he thought, for sure he was going to get us.
Yeah, dragon in a gauntlet. I mean, he did get several of us. We were able to, crawl out of the back door of the thieves' den, but man, oh man, were we not doing well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was he almost did succeed at that point.
Yeah. Yes. And Fangirl is absolutely in Akadeezy's ear about, I really want to be a vampire. Can you turn me and Rolf into a vampire? I really don't want Rolf to die. Can you please bite him?
Well, I
thought whole way back.
Yeah, if we all went vampire, that would have been funny. And there was that big, early on, there was that big ogre or giant, whatever it was, in the Tower of Light down inside the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got away from. I kind of felt, I played enough with Chubby now that I can kind of tell when he's disappointed that his creation didn't get to curb stomp us there inside the giant cavern. But of course he'll say, "Oh, I don't care."
Well, he revealed to us not soon after that session that was all just, I think, created on the spot. He just thought it up and went with it. It worked really well.
I think he did a lot of that, but and that's a credit to him. Not everybody can do that, but
yeah, for sure.
I was looking through Shadowdark today, and I was checking on something. I forgot what it was, but sometimes I forget how great that book is. That if you really just had to run it on the fly, you can make it work. I mean, if you're halfway experienced, somewhat veteran GM, you don't have to be the greatest GM in the world because the tools are right there for you as far as the encounters and throwing a map together on the fly. I don't know. I thought he did a great job with it, and I don't know how much was planned. And I know a couple of times he'd get on the call early before this would start, 30 minutes ahead of time, and he's kind of halfway talking to me, and on the other end, he's making his notes for what we're doing tonight. Probably a good lesson there for all of us about spending less time on prep. Your players will have just as much fun, probably.
Yeah, it's really up to your particular preference, right? You can prep all day long if you want. I don't do a lot of GMing these days, so I can't really comment on what my preference is, but I have done some no prep stuff, not recorded, just with a private group, and I think I prefer it that way. I prefer as little prep as possible. You tend not to fall into a lot of any of the prep pitfalls.
It's a slippery slope.
I prefer, yeah.
When I started playing 5e again, I used to brag about, hey, I love the prep. Prep is part of the play, and if I like doing it, it doesn't hurt anything. When in fact it really was hurting my play, and it wasn't because I felt bad and wanted to railroad the players. I just felt so egotistically tied to what I had written, right? Oh, this is so good. I've got to fit it all in, and
yep.
And it was just too much. So again, I sound like we're little philosophers sitting at the knees of Funster, but he's talked about some of these things and I'm remembering them, but the cognitive load thing where just too many things going on in your head. And I think it is a better process and a better product at the table if it's lean on purpose and intentionally done that way.
We Chthonic Musings, we talked to him about that. I think he's going to be busy though, dealing with his Shadow Sun.
His $5 million Kickstarter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That he's got to start from scratch because he hasn't written a word of it yet, right?
Yep.
That map must be really expensive.
But I actually would love to try that. I'm one of the ones that I'm like, okay, can you expand it? Because I got in on that Kickstarter, and I'm like, okay, so I want it to be like deal with the supernatural elements even more so, and have so you could do a Monster of the Week game, and so.
Hey, let me ask you guys, and I'm looking at my list over here. I'm not trying to direct us. We can talk about anything we want. Obviously, we're so engaging and entertaining that there's 17 people listening to this. But
I'll take it. 17 is a great number.
17 is a good number. It's my lucky number. On spell casting, though, in ShadowRim, it took me a little while, and maybe this was the classless part of it, where I was telling Jeff before we got on, I didn't really know what to make of it. I had Harmony, I had Courage, and maybe one other spell, maybe just those two. And it was like I would just forget I had the spells at all. I was just playing like a fighter, like I typically play a fighter class, not always. But it just took me a little while. It wasn't until session 4 or 5 that I was like, I'm going to use a spell up here. I'm going to use the spell first, then I'll go in and switch to a weapon and do what I need to do.
Yeah, at some point for you it clicked. I had a couple of spells that I just never used. It was like, what did I have? It was like Rune of Fire, Rune of Lightning, something along those lines. It required that I cast the spell on an object, and then whoever touches the object, it will trigger a damage or some other type of effect. And I just never used them. And I also never switched signs. I probably should have at least done that. But I, like you, generally don't play magic users. So that I'm sure that had something to do with it. It's not for the system. It's for the player. I just didn't use it.
I mean, I didn't cast a single spell. I mean, I think my stat was too low to be an effective spell caster. But what I did have was the shouts. So
yeah.
That's on our list here, Jeff, of shouts specifically.
I don't want to jump the gun.
No, you're fine. It's right here, but you're right. I was just saying you're right on because the shouts were an interesting part of the game. Tell us how you remind everybody how that worked.
I at first, okay, so I was trying to learn the rules and trying to figure out, okay, so I can shout, but if I fail, then I can't, and so on and so forth. So because it basically kind of works out just like spells, you know. As long as you don't fail at it, you can keep on doing it. So, which I did fail on a couple occasions. That knocked me out from being able to do that particular shout until a rest, you know.
And we got lucky because I think shout also could have a negative impact, right? If one of your companions was too close to your position.
The one, yeah, the especially the one that I was really doing, that was the one that blows the creatures, you know, off. That we took out a couple of the things with, or I knocked them in the water. Especially that first one when we were in the the pirate cave.
Yeah.
You know,
very first session, right?
Yeah, remembering all the way back.
Ongoing battle.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, "Wow, that's the longest combat I've had." I'm like, "Really? Wow, you don't play 5e, do you?"
Well, it was. I knew what he meant. It was a very strange thing in that it was just like one running encounter that we've never really disengaged, and then we kind of spread into. I mean, I got killed early in that because I was trying to.
You did
move around on my own, and this other dynamic of, and I don't know if it was so much Chubby's way of playing it or if it was ShadowRim, but leaving the little, just like a video game, right? There were little bits and treasures and clues and things we could pick up that felt like physical tokens, like, you know, you're just waiting for Mario.
Look at this shiny.
Well, Chubby mentioned that he thought, or he expected that was what was causing the combat to go so long, because once we could see on the map where all of the treasure was, it felt there was almost a compulsion for the players to 100% the dungeon, so to speak, right? Yeah. To get everything and to get out. And that was the first and I think the last dungeon that he did that in. And that it didn't happen from that point forward. We were just in our characters, playing in the world, making decisions from moment to moment. So I think he identified where it came from, and he changed it, and it almost immediately went back.
Yeah.
Greg, was that something, if you're still listening, was that something you were just experimenting with? I mean, ShadowRim is, for the GM, is not really intended to play that way on the map, is it, where you sprinkle the treasures and make them that obvious? I picked up on it, and I was trying to literally pick up the treasures that you had marked, but I didn't like that aspect of the game.
Well, I think, and he can correct me if I'm wrong if he's here, but I think the idea was to make it a little bit more engaging for the viewers, so that the viewers had information, which made all the sense in the world, right?
But it gave us that information.
It really, it ended up tripping us up.
Got me killed.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think my character, the reason it kind of went off the way it did is because the character it was, it kind of wanted revenge, and you know, it saw that woman that attacked, and we went chasing after it. They weren't as greedy as us.
Yeah, there we go. He's running with Saturday. That must have been before my time then. But
to quote Gordon Gekko, greed is good. So, until you're killed by it.
We found the chatters. What? Huh? What did I do? Sorry, Dan. I'm not sure I follow that.
Yeah, and I cut off Bacon there. I apologize. What were you saying, James? What?
Oh, I was done. I was done. I just said that if he did do this with his Saturday group, it was before I got there.
Yeah. Yes, that would have been funny if you kind of went through that experiment twice. And tell everybody what you were playing. I know you were Fangirl, but what was your ancestry? And
I was a wood elf. And I tried to mirror it off of the Green Pact as much as I could. Legally distinct Green Pact from Skyrim. And those elves are very, how to describe it? They dislike harming plant life, and they will... They're cannibals. I'll just come out and say it, right? I've said it before in the game. They're very violent to those who would cut trees down, trod on grass, that sort of thing. And so they're food sourcing and whatnot comes from a lot of cannibalism, but also eating animals that have already expired or hunting. There are hunters and whatnot, and so that's where the whole tow economy came from in the game. But I was trying to play it as close to a green pact wood elf ranger as I could. Now, there were some deviations, of course, which is fine. We weren't in Skyrim. We were in ShadowRim, exactly, a cannibal tree hugger. But I liked the character quite a bit. I thought, I was mellow as far as the whole, toe crunching went. I really liked Rolf, though. I ended up very invested in Rolf, which was I don't know, it was weird to me because I was playing this one character, but I really wanted to play this other character. So actually, when I started in Chubby's Saturday night game, I ended up rolling up Rolf. So I'm just playing Rolf now. His name is Rolf. He's a fighter. He's got a great weapon. I'm just playing Rolf.
And he was an Imperial, I guess, like a...
No, he was a Nord. He was a Nord fanatic follower.
He was a Nord also.
Yeah, he was a Nord.
I'm getting this now after 7 sessions. That's good.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that your main character was an elf.
Yep.
I didn't really pay attention to that because, it was like, I thought he was a little weird. He was eating toes and stuff, but, hey, whatever.
Yeah, toe here, an arm there, a leg there.
I think one night after one of the sessions, we all talked about it. We didn't really do a good job introducing our characters, even for the people listening, but even to each other, or what's what and who's who. And I don't mean a backstory or anything like that, but what is your background? What is your ancestry? And that is a little tougher. I don't know why in a VTT. And it's not like when I play in real life, I play with miniatures or anything, but
I think you guys all knew that I was a Nord. I mean, that was pretty apparent.
How Shadow worked.
Yeah. So, and I wasn't about to change off of taking that one. I thought, yeah, I'm a Nord. That fits. You can only take it if you are a Nord. So I'm like, I might as well stick with that and embrace the shouts. And I tried to play it when we were in mixed company, if you will, with a lot of Imperials around. I tried to play down the shouting and all that, but when we were out in the wild, I let it go, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun doing the shouts. I think didn't always work out the way I wanted it, but
We're getting compliments on our background music. It's from one of us. So. I don't know if that even needed to be private.
I got to figure out how to do that. I haven't found that option.
Are you using Restream?
Yeah.
It's over on the right side of your screen when you're logged in as the admin.
Yeah.
The lower right, you'll see music.
It's over like with all the overlays and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why it just seems to fill in the gaps. I think when you're speaking with the group. Hey, one other thing too, while we got some people watching here, I had done a video last week about Bacon and Mike Melnick, who was in the chat here, have done a new beginner's 4D handbook, which is kind of a neat guide to update the current thinking on 4D play and leaving behind some of the old vestiges of whatever people thought about it. Well, here's where it is right now today. Here's what it can be. Here's what you need to know if you want to try it. It's as simple as that. But we did a video on it, and then while I had him kind of pegged on screen, I kind of put him on the spot. I said, our Monday night game, we might want to try a 4D session or two. Would you want to come GM? And he goes, sure he did. So kind of held his feet to the fire, but he gave in pretty easily. So Crispy might come on in a couple of weeks and run something for us if we'll try to do the immersive in character style. So that would be a different kind of listen for us on a Monday night. That would
be very fun. It would be
some
very
concentration and some thinking after a work day. I don't know how well that would work, but I'm sure we could do it.
Just don't eat my toes.
Yeah.
Nah. I think we're leaving the cannibals be for a little while. Cannibal elves.
Yeah, so check out the channel for that. And again, next week Jeff's going to jump in and GM for us. Jeff, do you have that book? What that adventure was? I wasn't familiar with it, but like I said, there's so many great adventures and
Yeah, I figured, hey, we kind of this was ShadowRim was based on Shadowdark, right? Well, let's go ahead and do a Shadowdark game, So this is the Crumbling Keep of Kashmir, and it's an interesting tale. I've kind of been reading through it already, and nice book. Doesn't look like it's too long. You start off, I think it's for a second level in Shadowdark, and I've got some pre-gens too, so we'll talk about it offline whether we just want to try and run with the pre-gens and go from there just to make it quick and easy, or if people want to roll up and level up.
Appreciate you jumping in and doing that. I know that'll be fun. Hey, Edgelord King, how are you doing? Couple of folks. Elf Hunter 6. I see him or her. I guess it's him everywhere. The only reason I say it's him is because I look at my usage and my subscriber and that kind of thing, my data. It's like 98% male, 1% female, which is probably, I talked my wife into following my channel, which she doesn't really watch it. Or she'll put on a video and then go away and let it play.
Yeah, Elf Hunter's a 40 guy. He's a
I don't know who the other 1% is. It's not male or female, but whatever. It's a little
could be my wife.
Little whatever. So yeah, your wife might be a follower in there, a 1%er. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing coming up. What did Elf Hunter say? Jeff, someone ate your toes in a role-playing game to Small World.
Yeah. What is he playing with you, Bacon?
It wasn't me that did that. Though I wouldn't doubt that at some point that has happened.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about ShadowRim here tonight, and we're just talking through some of the things in this campaign we just finished up. Lord Mattias couldn't be with us tonight. He's under the weather. What about combat? I mean, to me, it felt very familiar. Was there anything unique or different that you guys liked about combat in ShadowRim?
It felt very much like Shadowdark to me. Like it was a familiar combat. I don't know if Chubby updated any of the dice for the weapons, or if any of the weapons were unique to his particular setting. But it felt very familiar. It was, I thought it was pretty decently standard Shadowdark combat.
I did too. Yeah, Jeff, what was your?
Of course, I think it was kind of interesting that the main weapon I used is one that I got. What was it? Was it something I found? I think in the first session that we had. Of course, the warhammer that attracted insects at night. So, which we did play into a little bit. He probably, if we were to keep it going, I'm sure he'd play more into it. But but that was kind of interesting. But it had the damage, So the annoyance factor. I think you guys had to clear off some insects off me one time because I got caught up in a swarm or something.
That's right. Yeah. I think a couple of times you forgot you even had that weapon. What was it? A warhammer? You said, or
pretty
axe
sure.
or something?
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, it's not worth
mace. Might have been a mace.
A mace. Yeah, maybe it was a mace.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it was fun. It added a little bit of flavor. And most of the time I was swinging that. The shouts I didn't use. I didn't spam the shouts. Let's put it that way. And I was trying to, avoid being caught doing something that was forbidden by the Imperials, So that's why I didn't do it at all in the city and, that type of stuff. So.
Oh, that's cool. Edgelord King in the comments is playing ShadowRim, and their second session is this Thursday.
Rad.
I handled fumbles in Melee by having the person who fumbled roll against adjacent allies. Do you mean like possibly striking them, or you rolled a crit with your short bow and instead you fire a bow into the back of their calf kind of thing, or I mean an arrow into? We'll let Edgelord King catch up and answer that. But what do shouts do?
It depends. The two that I had, one of them did a knockback. Yes, it would send.
Fusroda. That's the headlining shout from Skyrim.
Yeah. Let me see if I've got it up here. Let me log into Roll20, so I have it handy. Sign in. Yeah, I had never used Roll20 until this game.
You're looking that up, Jeff?
I'm pulling it up now.
Cool.
See if it lets me pull my character up here. Okay, yeah, I don't.
Chubby didn't lock us out already.
No, he didn't lock it out yet. which is probably good, because I think it's fun to be able to go and see what I did.
Yeah.
Ngari, that's my character.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the Intimidate shout and the Unrelenting shout. So the Unrelenting is the one that did a knockback for close. It's an unrelenting force of nature that throws your enemies through the air. Anyone within close distance.
Yeah, it's indiscriminate.
Is thrown. If they hit a wall, they take 1d6 falling damage. If they're thrown off a ledge or a cliff, they take normal falling damage. So that was what I did with the in that first cave. Is I knocked a couple of them, I think, off into the water, and then I did that a couple times later on. The other shout that I had was Intimidate shout, and that one is a duration one that lasts 4 rounds per level, and it resonates loudly and terrifies your enemies. So it gives a -1 penalty to their melee attacks and their AC for all enemies within range. And then at 4th level, it raises it to a -3. So I had just gotten up to that point where they would have had a -3 penalty. So, and then I guess at 7th, it's a -5. So, but those were the two that I had. I don't know if I was supposed to pick up another one at 4th level, or if I didn't get, but we didn't feel that was the one thing that I wish I would have taken the time to do was kind of update, my character when I hit 4th level, because we hit the XP mark on the next to the last one, right? And when we did the previous updates, we kind of did it collectively as a group, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I thought that we had kind of collectively gone through and done, okay, so how do so I was expecting we were going to do that at the beginning of the last session. My bad. I wish, probably something that just bear in mind in the future, But I think that next to last session ran a little long, if I recall. So.
Yeah, I did like the shouts, because I thought probably the most memorable character in our group, other than the Wood Elf Cannibal. So I guess it's a tie for both.
Yeah.
That was pretty memorable, but the other one was the Nordster with his shouting capabilities was kind of cool.
Yeah.
If Chubby's still listening, I'd made the comment earlier, Craig, that, it took a little while to get used to the fact that we were classless, and that, you have these spells also, that if you're not used to being a magic user, you have these spells in your back pocket along with your regular fighting skills. That took it's a little like, I do have the book over here. I played this game also, Black Sword Hack, which is kind of a Michael Moorcock, Elric and Melmabone type setting. So it's the same thing. You're classless, but you have that merger of abilities, and it's a little like, Bacon and others in our game saying, "Oh, hell, I didn't use a luck token because I forget I have luck tokens. I don't even think about it." I think
Yeah. I think we all kind of,
Yeah.
I did. I even use. I think I used mine once, and I still failed. So it didn't really.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think usually it was Chubby going, or you could use your luck token. Hey, you could use your luck token right now to roll again. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, kind of forgot they were there.
And Edgelord is absolutely right to point out. Yes, it did require charisma check. So, and I did not always make that check. And when you fail it, just like with a spell,
I guess I won't shout.
I can't use that shout again for till a whole a rest period.
But overall combat, whoever, I think Bacon said it earlier, it did feel just like Shadowdark. So for me, I'm sure for you guys too, it's very comfortable. Went pretty quickly, and Chubby ran pretty slick. Initiative. I know he plays with it different ways sometimes when we roll it and when we change it, but it was pretty standard, I thought. Oh, there he is. He says, playing OSC with the Saturday night group, I've been thinking about how to make hybrid magic using classes so that nobody is that one spell wizard that has no combat abilities.
Kind of like a cleric, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing that I kind of like
that's still
about the cleric.
The merger of divine and fighting, divine magic skills.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? I was in another. Oh, I was playing a dwarven cleric in a game on Saturday with Troll Lord Games, a CNC game, and that was kind of neat because I could turn undead, and we had undead. So.
Yeah, I think so much of what Shadowdark does and so many other systems, right, is play on the D&D. Type magic
tropes.
Yeah, the trope of the Jack Vance type magic user. And I've tried to read Jack Vance, and I just think it's so awful. The writing is terrible, and I'm sorry.
Wow, why?
I will fight people because anybody that has to go out of his way to write using a thesaurus to use big words to sound intelligent, to impress 12-year-olds, give me a break. It's terrible. It's terrible. But there's a couple other writers that I read and I really enjoy, and sometimes they're not the best writers either, like Howard and Lovecraft, and sometimes Dunsany, but Dunsany was making it up where it didn't really exist before him. So I'll let him slide on some of that. I do read all of it, and I enjoy most of it. But man, the Vance has been a really hard trudge. Like, oh come on, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to, talk anyone down or back or whatever. So,
yeah, and I know people love him and all that, and I know that was a big part of Appendix N was Fancy and Magic. But
yeah, I like Vance for the questions that he asks, and the ironies that he exposes. But sometimes you just don't mesh well with the way that the author writes. I get that. I'm the same way with
I think Tolkien kind of ruined it for me, and he's never met a run-on sentence that he didn't like, or sentences that go on for paragraphs. But
yeah,
I'm okay.
There are some authors that I like that just go on for a million years. Like Terry Brooks is one of them. I remember first reading Terry Brooks. I started with his genre series, and
I think that's pronounced.
Dude he just can't say a mountain pass. He has to describe all the tiny little pebbles and how they, I can't with that. It's very
it drags just read. It's like,
look, if I'm reading a book, before I open that first cover, I commit to reading the book and I'm going to read every last word of it, but sometimes it's just very difficult to get through.
Yeah.
For sure. Edgelord King says Clark Ashton Smith also uses some $50 words. That's true, but he's awesome. He is awesome.
Look at Chubby's comment. Your insipid refusal to engage in bewildering prose leaves me disappointed and ruminating on your temerity.
I've always heard those called mayonnaise words.
Mayonnaise words. That's a good.
Have you heard that term?
No.
I don't know if that was my grandmother or whatever. She was from Missouri, and that. They called them mayonnaise words, any of them really long words that you could have done something shorter and that would have been more succinct, and to the point. And no, we're gonna use this big fancy word.
Yeah, and to be fair to Vance, not that whatever matter, my opinion. But
yeah, he doesn't care anymore.
yeah, I don't think he cared anymore. But I have not done a wide, diverse reading of Jack Vance stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the little bit that I tried, I was just like, God, it just. And part of that might be a job thing because I come out of advertising and done my fair share of copywriting, and it's a communication thing, right? Always use a simpler word than a big complex word, and that's just been drilled into me for decades. So yeah, it's probably just a personal thing.
There's something to be said for I know what is it? You're supposed to be writing for a 6th grade audience or something like that.
Right.
But honestly, I appreciate stuff that's written on that little bit higher level. I mean, I read Dune in 8th grade, man, and my English teacher was mayonnaise gonna get you.
Why don't you just get on the call? Why don't you?
Yeah. We could bring you on.
Good Lord. He's sitting there sniping from the. Although I have to admit, that's how I'm the only survivor of this Monday night group, is because I used to be in the comments like you guys, and I would just sit there and make a steady stream of stupid little, dad jokes. And every once in a while, Joe or Tim Shore, somebody would look at him and they'd giggle and laugh. All right, one landed. Hang on, let me just grab this link.
Yeah, that so I read that my English teacher actually asked. She's like, "Are you sure you wanna do that?" I say, "Oh yeah." Well, I had a neighbor that he had introduced me to Dune already at that point, and he showed me that he had the 1984 Dune on VHS, and I wanted to see it. He's like, "Nope, you got to read the book first before you can watch the movie." Look at the cat dragged in.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misheard. Maybe I didn't understand. You have a lot of writing to do, and you couldn't keep doing this.
Oh, I have it on YouTube. Sorry, my bad.
You what?
I had to mute YouTube. It was my computer was existing in 2 points in time.
Yeah.
I was just sitting over here trying to do art direction, and these guys just keep talking and talking,
sniping and picking your work to pieces, and just couldn't take it anymore.
You were up pretty late last night, Chubby.
I was. My plan is to get my kid to bed by 10, and then get the fuck out of here. Just go to bed. Oh, yeah, that's not good.
I did not only one stream, my own stream, but then I did a whole nother stream, and I had an after chat in between. And I come back and you and Joe are still chewing the fat.
Well, I'm really excited today to have heard back from John Hodgson for this cover, 2 covers. Now I have a price with him that it works for me to do 2 books, because I was like, with A5 you get to a point where you really need to split it. You can't go over 300 pages or it becomes too much. Like, Shadowdark is 330 and people are like, this is a freaking brick you could punch someone with. So I was worried about that as I watched the revisions adding up to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And then some of the quotes because I can afford now to pay for a serious artist, but like Magic the Gathering level artists, that's just too much. Like there's still too high. I can't support it. And you're not gonna get it. Yeah, I'm the son of 2 actuaries, so my risk tolerance is very low. Very low. And the idea of dropping a whole bunch of money on a covers that I don't know for sure are going to recoup the money, it's just that a big part of my business model, which is and you could ask people like Joe the lawyer, like I was pounding this drum 3 or 4 years ago, and it hadn't come to fruition yet. Yeah, is to keep making works where the cost of inputs is as close to 0 as possible, right? So ShadowRim, for instance, the starfield backgrounds that are all over the book on the cover, that are on the starfield, that's an image from NASA that I took into Photoshop and added all kinds of color and sparkle effects to make it look cool, right? But that's
Well, it
that's
does
the
look cool.
image. It's a public domain image from NASA. That image of the seated guy is a stock art piece that's on DriveThruRPG for just a few bucks, but in black and white, you wouldn't even recognize it for what that is right there. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what that is there's a thin layer of the image, and then I cut everything off except for the dude, and then kept darkening him so he would glow more than the surrounding part of the image. Right. So it's like a layered thickness of this dude being pressed into the background, and that the dragon that's in the middle of the logo, that's a stock art image that was like $1, right? So
That's
like
awesome.
Yeah, like working on all the signs that it goes through, they're all stock art, and some of them are public domain. Like I know that the Falcon is a public domain image. I've used it in other things. So like putting it so it's as close to zero cost as possible,
Right.
And then that way, once it's done, everything like that's a stock art sword that you can buy tons of stock art swords on DriveThru for like $1, right?
Sure can.
So like if you just go through them, Mike, like that's a there's a pack that I bought on DriveThru of a bunch of deity symbols, and one of them was a coin.
Oh.
And I just isolated the layers in Photoshop and did some stuff so that I could then burn it into because it's basically, if you know Photoshop, it's an overlay effect. It's kind of like wood burning, where you're kind of burning into a surface, like you're just like layering it in, so it makes it look like it's a constellation, right? So keep moving on. I think that's a William McAusland dragon.
I think I bought that dragon actually.
Yeah, it's in one of his packs. So like that's what I'm saying. Like designing it like that has allowed me for years, like working on that, to build it up to where now, like there's actual return on products. There's so many people in this industry that publish stuff and they make nothing. And the problem, I'm not saying like it's a get rich scheme, but you need the money to pay your forward for your next projects, right? You don't want to always be broke, unable to pay for your next project. It's ridiculous. I think that's actually a public domain image from some Egyptology thing that's like in an encyclopedia somewhere. Stuff like that. Yeah, that's definitely a public domain image of a falcon. All that kind of stuff. The dice are just at the bottom there are cheap. Stock art, the fist, that's a stock art of a spiked glove from DriveThru, right? So all these things, like trying to keep it down. There's so many people that are like, they'll do a Kickstarter and bring in $30K, and then they spend $29,500 on art. I was like, well, now you don't have anything for your next project.
Yeah, now you haven't really.
You have nothing.
Really gotten ahead.
And so it's very disappointing to see people do really amazing stuff and get no return on it, because there is a very open entry into this hobby that's hard to deny.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, the things that get attention, one of my most successful YouTube videos is why RPGs usually suck. RPG content usually sucks, or something like that. And it's because they're so focused on the sales and marketing side of having the prettiest possible book so that you'll buy that. And one of the Curse of Strahd videos, I just took the Curse of Strahd content and put it in Notepad, and then put that on half of the page. And then I said, here's this words in Notepad. Here's what's in the book. Functionally, these are the same thing, right? But your brain is tricked into thinking, well, this is in this great layout and it has all this background art and it looks really cool. It's like, but it's still so if the text sucks, it doesn't matter what it's in.
It's a coffee table book.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
And there's so many things where it's hard for people to even tell what's a good product or a bad product, because it's like illusion magic all the time. Everything is illusion magic. It's constant illusion magic, and people are trying to see through this shit. And that's what, like, when I started doing the videos where I'm like, I actually read the book. This is what the fucking book says. You know, like, that's what people want to know, because they're tired of buying some super expensive book and it blows. I mean, how many people drop $40-$50 on some Wizards of the Coast book that they never used once at the table, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a person in the hobby that doesn't do this shit, right? Like there's definite. I've got the books that are still on my shelf that I haven't given away are the ones that I actually like. You know, like, but there's so many books that I gave away to charity some year, or I gave to some friend. I was like, here, maybe you use this book, because it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And so my strategy, I know the guys in the group chat with me and Joe the Lawyer and Eric Tinker are just, you know, tired to death of hearing me say this shit. But like, for a long time, do the public domain thing, do the lowest possible cost thing, you scrounge for shit, and make it so. Let me pull this up, Mike. You can see this. So this, we were joking about in the Gods of the Forbidden North chat about, I was like, hey, look, I found this public domain image of Wujian people, which was like Mongol or East Asian looking guys in Gods of the Forbidden North. And let me see, it's in this folder. Just find these guys. They have like a comedic look, so that's why I was showing them. Okay, open this up, and you can see, like, this is just a public domain image. And all right, let me share my Photoshop open now. Okay, so this is a painting from some like early 1900s. But yeah, there it is in the title, 1885. It's in a Lahore Punjabi Company school book. Okay, painting a family of Tartars, right? And all you have to do is apply some layer effects, and you got this.
Yeah.
And it's so close to the art style that is in Gods of the Forbidden North already, right? And I was like this is like, all this took 3 minutes in Photoshop.
Well, and you mentioned Gods of the Forbidden North, and I saw I think there was an interview with the creator of that, with
Rob Alderman,
with Matt, with Lord Mateus. I think he was on there, and he was talking about, you were talking about the spending a whole bunch of money on art and not having a lot left, and he talked about that. He very much ran afoul of that.
I just made a joke in the chat when he was talking about it. I was like, he said something about how much the second Kickstarter brought in or something, and I was like, and you were able to use all that money, right, buddy? Because I knew it was gonna be like, it was just a joke. Like, it's like, these things, they cost so much money to do.
Yeah.
And he was way more open about it than I was expecting it to be. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy how much money gets dropped on this stuff. And I'm very grateful to be at the point now where I have the money to pay for a nice cover. But I have to think about, like, a lot of people, it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? So let's say I just handed you a whole bunch of money and I said, okay, get whatever cover you want. Most people will be like, I don't even know what to do. Like, how do I communicate what I want to the artist? What do I even want? I don't know what I want. Like there's so many things. So I'm looking through. For Elf Hunter in the chat, there's a website within the Wikipedia structure called Wikimedia, not Pedia, Wikimedia Commons, and you can search all the Wikipedia art assets by domain so it'll public domain or Creative Commons or whatever, and you can pull it all up. So you can find there's a foundation called the Pearson 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 Foundation, and if you just find one art asset that's connected to it, and then you click on the like show everything for this organization, right? And it is like a Encyclopedia Britannica amount of illustrations, everything you could possibly imagine. There's an illustration of a woman wearing a bonnet. There's an illustration of a Viking longship. There's an illustration of every fucking mushroom under the sun. There's the illustration of every animal you can think of. The illustration of extinct animals that you didn't even know existed. Like there's a zebra hybrid called a quagga that it's been wiped out, but it like the back half of it has zebra markings and the front half of it is like a horse markings with like marks on the snout and everything, like all these different things, because they found like some mummified version of it in the desert somewhere or some shit. All these different illustrations, totally public domain, free. You can do whatever. I think that falcon that we were looking at earlier is in that category.
The Wikimedia thing is a good thought, though. That's. I know. I looked at. I had been looking for some public domain art stuff that was from either the 19th century or 20th for the area here that I'm in for that thing I'm working on. And I found one that is from a piece in a museum, and it's a public domain piece, and it's a beautiful painting, that is of the mountains and all that. So,
well, Chthonic Musings has an excellent point. I believe that is changing now with VTTs for the first time, really changing with VTTs, because I can get like with Gods of the Forbidden North, he just released all the art as an art pack in the zip file that you get. And so you can just go onto the VTT and put the image of the dude and share it with the players. You can put text next to it, be like, this is so-and-so, and distribute that. Very, very useful. One of the things that I had Dark Sun modules and I had read them before, but always in PDF. I'd never actually seen one in real life. And then I saw one recently that somebody actually had in real life, and seeing how the flip book works was just awesome. I mean, I'm sure that it is not cost effective from a production perspective, but to have basically it's a flip book like the size of the detective's notepad on TV, like where they're taking notes. And what happens is each card has a side for the GM. Yeah. And then once you've done whatever, you flip it over so the other side comes up and the players are looking at the picture of the dude on the other side.
Right.
But they can't see your side because you flipped it over.
Yeah.
I'm like, genius. But all I had ever had was PDFs that was a scan of every page, and it wasn't arranged that way. So I just thought it was just pages. So like, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there.
I think about Theater of the Mind games too, even if you're just playing on Discord or something where you don't necessarily let them map and describe it and all that, but where you can just show scenes of the terrain or the cityscape outside the city or the castle from a distance, to kind of set the mood in the character of what's going on in the game without getting every image of a monster or a token or a map and all that too. That's kind of a different game.
That's cool.
Engage between the ears.
Well, I mean, I was doing stuff like this back in the early 2000s. I had a scanner and I would scan the image from the book. I had a TV out card and I said, okay, this is what it looks like. Look at the TV set, the old console TV set back there, and but yeah, I mean, I wasn't even using a VTT at the time. It was just throwing it up in paint and sending the image off to the TV instead of the the regular monitors, just so that the players could actually see. This is what you see, instead of going, you see a beholder. No, this is what you see. You tell and you kind of describe it instead of just telling them straight up what it is.
Hey, Greg, I was going to ask you earlier about Shadow Sun. I know you're aiming to have, at least I think you are, aiming to have something re-released for summertime. Would that be something you have in time for North Texas? Or maybe we talked about this before.
I believe so. That I don't know that I will have. So the art for the map is the longest production schedule. I don't know when that will be, because the map is colossal. It is 8 times larger than the Gods of Forbidden North map, which I cite as an example because it's the same artist. So the guy who did the Gods of Forbidden North map is Glenn Seal. He's also done Midderlands and Dolmen Woods map. Very famous guy in the old school part of the hobby. And I wanted to have that Terra Invictus feel of that. This is just this massive world that's stretching out in every direction. Like if no matter where you go, there's going to be things to do. And I didn't want it to be. I think people use the phrase points of light, where basically it's like, here's a city here, and here's a dungeon here. And here's the thing, but that's it. That's all you know. Like there's just this huge expanse of terrain everywhere that nobody even knows what the F is going on. Like the Al-Qadim map is like that, right? There's all the little cities, and then there's areas where it's like, this is the desert of whatever. But what's out there? I wanted it to feel like, a place that you could be like, well, we're going to that particular hex. And we're going to find out what's in that, So building it out like that's going to take a long time. Getting to North Texas, I should have by then the revisions to the core book, which will be split into 2 books, a GM book and a player book. And then there tons of extra stuff. Like it's not just revising what's already there. Like there's tons of extra stuff that's going in. A whole bunch of new monsters that I can now afford art for that are more Dark Sun monsters. Like there's no stock art for Dark Sun monsters. It's like just not happening unless it's just like giant centipede or some shit, But I'm putting all that together and having that ready. That will be ready by North Texas. The map and all of the keying of the map, no. Once the map is done, I want to kind of commission a humongous poster version from a publisher that will print in that size. But I'm not going to only have it in that size. I'm going to have it's divided into 8 segments for a reason, so that you could have each of the segments is going to be, if you scale it right, will fit on a 8.5 by 11 page, just like the Gods of Forbidden North map fits on an 8.5 by 11 page. So you can have a handout of this 1/8 of the map, and you could use just that 1/8. And the kind of secret backroom reason for this is DriveThru has a publishing system on the card side where you can publish either letter size or legal size posters in high gloss that look really great.
That's very cool.
Here, I'll go grab one off the shelf here real quick.
Yeah. While he's doing that, hey, one thing I liked from our little list of things we wanted to follow up on was I think we only did travel really in one game, and then we got to the city and stayed around the city, if I remember right. But maybe the second session after the Pirate Cave thing, we did a little travel. I like the way
we did.
We didn't bog down on it, and it wasn't all. I'm fine with some simple resource management. I don't think it has to be that hard, especially.
So this is Mulyadi the Conqueror's map, but you can see
that looks great.
This is a legal size map. We zoom in here.
Yeah, that looks good.
You know, it's a satellite type look to it that I made myself.
Yeah.
I can't do the illustration size or style like Glenn Seal. I wish I was a Renaissance man to that degree, but I'm just not. And so I want to have it so that you could print, you could get a pack from DriveThru that has 8 of these that you get, and they're all like, you could put it together into a fabric if you wanted to, make them all line out right. But otherwise, you could just be like, we're on this map today. Here you go, you know. And you can actually get them. I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not talking out my ass. The 8.5 by 11 ones you can get on a glossy paper or like a thicker cardstock. I think I haven't ordered one in like a year, but those are the kind of things. Like, this is hard to express, so if it doesn't make sense, let me know. But you can like find a way to make something that brings in all that big money, that has this high production cost, but the amount of work and energy and everything that you put into it just isn't worth it for you. Whereas like if you have something that you can just put on DriveThru and just chink chink done, print it out, get it out the door, the low stress level of that can be worth it, right? Yeah. Like running a huge Kickstarter is not like a joyful event. And I'm an economist in my soul, and I always think of the opportunity costs. What else could I be doing with all the time and energy and stress that I'm putting into this thing? I could write a whole nother fucking book, you know, like is that worth it? Is it worth it to have one less book, but it has a marginally better print quality relative to, like, I mean, is it worth it to put a ribbon in the book? Is that like that's where we're at? Like, you know,
I like the ribbons.
I know, I like the ribbon too. But I think a lot of people would rather have the book, you know, have the book 3 months earlier, have the thing now, you know, have it be better. That's the kind of trade-offs that you got to deal with at this level in the game that I'm at. And
yeah,
if money was no object, I wouldn't have to talk about these decisions, but it is an object. You know, the difference between spending, you know, $1,000 on a cover and $2,000, $4,000, those are real numbers. You know, like it's a lot of cash. And if you can't finance it at the second you're doing it, that ends up with, that's why people started using Kickstarter in the first place, right? Like, I can't afford to print this many books with this quality, with this art and all this stuff, and start doing everything on Kickstarter. But you shouldn't run a business that way, right? Like, you shouldn't be, if you were in any other industry, you don't want to be selling a product that you can't make without the money that you get from the sale. Like, that's crazy. Nobody sells hamburgers that way, where like, no, I'm not going to buy the hamburger meat until you order the hamburger, and then I'm going to buy a whole bunch of hamburger in bulk, and then it will be affordable. Like, no, don't do that. But it's so risky. How many people have gone down in flames because of things like this? The reason why there was the whole Diamond Distributors thing is because people can't afford to pay things on the front side. They're always paying things on the back side, and then the distributor owns you. That's like,
especially in publications.
Yeah, and Kelsey, I don't want to put words in her mouth. She has spoken about this herself, but my understanding, my memory of it, is that a lot of the reasons why she didn't jump right into doing retail sales is because of these kind of things. She did not want to be beholden to having somebody hold a whole bunch of goods on consignment until it gets sold. She didn't want to pay for all the distribution costs of shipping and all these things. Like, those are real things.
Well, one of the problems with the Diamond situation is that they had a monopoly on the distribution, where a lot of stores and retail outlets could only buy through Diamond, And because of that, you couldn't get your product in there unless you went through them. And of course, the only way through them is to send them stuff on consignment. And then, of course, what they do, they wound up trying to steal the stuff. So,
It's brutal. That goes back to like the two act. You know that there's two dogs inside of you. Like I have two actuaries inside of me,
Yeah.
and they're both like trying to find how to do this for the lowest possible price for the best risk. And one of them's like, "Well, we could try this." Nope, don't. We can't do that. Like
You've got a conversation going on in your head.
that's the two actuary. Which actuary do I feed?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. It's like, woo. And I was kind of like, not shamed, but I didn't talk about that until I learned that Gary Gygax had an actuarial background, and I was like, let it rip. I don't care if anybody knows I'm.
Yeah, he did insurance and stuff, didn't
Actuarial
he?
material.
Yeah. For I think that's what he was doing
Yeah.
while he was designing. When he had the young kids and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I hope to do the same thing for ShadowRim that I'm doing this year for Shadow Sun, if the cash flow works in that direction.
Come out with the 2.0 kind of.
YouTube has been very useful in keeping the sales tail that drops away over time from doing that. It's kept it much higher than it would normally have faded away to. And so the work I've done on YouTube has really benefited the brand in that respect. So I'm glad that we do things like do the live streams and everything. It's very useful. I think people want to buy from somebody that they like and believe in, and that's one of the reasons why people aren't buying Wiz the Coast stuff anymore, is they don't trust them, they don't believe in them anymore. And that's that's the currency. I want to be authentic in that respect, and it's just it's a tough thing, like my task for today, maybe not even tonight, into tomorrow, is to really think out what I want to do on this cover. The only really thing I'm sold on is there's a famous illustration, or it's a cover, but not really illustration, on slave tribes, Dark Sun accessories. The famous guy with the spiky helmet, he's holding two spiked clubs over his head. This is very iconic Dark Sun image, and I had the idea of creating a statue, kind of like the DMG statue that's iconic, with the red devil guy with the gemstones for eyes, right? And having a scene where there's this statue, and the statue is the guy in that pose, like the guy on the cover of Slave Tribes, and then there's all sorts of stuff around him. So he's kind of like, he has that dark sun credential, and it's still going to be innovative. I want to make sure that the illustration shows the black, the sea effect that surrounds it, because I don't just have it as all dead. Like there's that was how I kind of integrated it into Shadowdark, is having that it's an ocean of black silt, right? So I need to make sure that whatever camera angle, for lack of a better term, perspective, is able to see some of that in the background. So that means it needs to be outside. It can't all be like inside of a temple or whatever. And there's all these so I'm just kind of building this thing in my head, and then you have to communicate this stuff to artists. I actually have, I'll show you one page. Pull up. When I commission art to artists, like not covers, but like just I need a figure of this thing or whatever, I put together a file in InDesign, and then show it. So let me see. All right, this is a good one. So I sent 8 of these full page illustrations to Eric Lofgren, which is he's done a bunch of stuff that you'll probably recognize as stock art or pieces and other things. He did the art that's the Scarlet Minotaur in the GM Quick Start for Shadowdark, and I wanted these as kind of like the full page illustrations that are with the classes in Shadowdark, but I'm doing it with the races because races are so different in the Dark Sun, the Shadow Sun. So this picture of this cat is just for positioning, right? It's just the way that I want the figure to look. But then I'm like, okay, but it needs to match this. This is an illustration from Rick Hershey that I'm actually using for the Hawkfolk, right? So it's going to be this kind of a guy, but in this pose, right? And he's going to be standing on top of a lizard folk guy that'll be dead. That should look kind of like this. This is the live version of that lizard folk guy, right? And then there's a description of what I want. So that's the kind of thing, like putting this together and communicating this to the artist
it's a style guide.
It's very hard. Yeah. It's challenging. It takes a long time because if you're going to drop $500, you need to take some time and really sketch out. You can't just be like, do whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, you'll never get what you want if you tell them.
You gotta really be clear, because they're not going to want to draw up a sketch and then have you go back and go, well, I'd really like it if you totally change this sketch. The sketch needs to align with the thing. So I would love to be able to have that kind of level art for like ShadowRim assets, to have like a wood elf that's like that, and to have a whole bunch of stuff that because I got Rick Hershey is another artist that I've used, and I've commissioned work for him for that Al-Qadim type game that's on my back burner now, and some really fantastic pieces. It's just very expensive to do half page or full page art because it's pricey. But I don't think turning to the AI is any possible solution. So I want to make sure that the people that are capable of imagining new and cool things are the people that I'm giving my money to. And I definitely don't want to give my money to things that are going to be detrimental in so many ways. I don't want to go off on an AI tangent. I want to. So that's just my perspective. So I think it'll be. It just takes, but it takes time. It takes months for big, huge art pieces to get made, because artists have workflows that you got to get into. Like Glenn Seal told me that I'm probably going to be up for he'll start working on the first map middle of next month. He told me that over a month ago, so like he's far out in his queue, and there's a variety of things. But I don't want anything to be, if I don't get this by a certain date, I'm screwed. Right. So that's the kind of issue, and it's very hard to think, what do I need in 5 months? Let's plan ahead for that, when you haven't even written some of the things that you're going to need the art for. Yeah. So you have to really plan it out and do stuff. And like the map for ShadowRim was made by me, but it has all kinds of flaws. It's hard, for me, it's almost like when I look at it now, looking back at it, I'm like, I wish I'd done this thing differently and that thing differently. But for free, for just Greg's labor, it's a really good map.
What did you do?
What is ShadowRim?
The ShadowRim.
You said ShadowRim. What is ShadowRim? I'm kidding.
Oh, you're fucking with me now.
No. Yes, I am.
No, what did you do the map in?
Photoshop. I use
you Photoshop.
I use a technique of what you do. There's a function in Photoshop that creates a cloud effect. It's like a random pattern of white and black. Mm-hmm. And it has gradients of transition between them, so it looks like clouds. And if you use that effect in a certain way, you can create random terrain shapes, and you texture them. So you basically, you have like one layer that is just like the base of the grassland, and then you have another layer that you've textured to be just like little ridges, and it's transparent through, so it's basically drawing the ridges on the base layer that you've got. And then you can add darkening effects to it and also to make it look like a satellite map. And it takes a long time. The main drawback is that you can't control it very easily because it is a randomized shape. So like Legos, you can pick and choose and shape them how you want, but you're still limited to whatever Legos you have. You can't make, well, I need this one to be 48 dots long Lego, like, too bad. You're just limited like that. And the Terra Invictus map was made in that manner. It looks like a good satellite map. One of the main drawbacks to it is that the actual like hex layer that goes over it, because the way that it's basically contrast and light goes through the map, it's hard. Some of the hexes become hard to read the numbers on. Some of the hex shapes become hard to read because it's black on a dark brown or something,
Yeah.
And it's not as uniform as if it's illustrated. So there's those kind of things, but it is what it for a long time. That goes back to what I was saying about public domain. Like, find a way to do it with as little cost as possible, and then work your way up. Ambition and Avarice 1, my first product, I think it brought in like maybe $1,500 total, but all of that money went back into stock art. Yeah. So then the next one has even better assets. So then all the profits from that become more stock art. So every dollar in profit turns into more and more and more stock art until now I'm basically, I got all the stock art I could want or need. Anything that I actually commission is for something that nobody would make stock art of.
Yeah.
Nobody's making stock art of some random monster from Al-Qadim or Dark Sun or something, or Skyrim that doesn't fit a normal D&D. But if you want a lizard man, oh man, I got all the lizard man you need. I've got dozens and dozens of lizard men.
So lots of Akadizis.
That's right.
He's a diamond.
Do you want him to have a bone helmet? Do you want him to be crawling through a swamp with a mace? Do you want him to be hiding in a shadow with a dagger? Whatever you got. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I want him to be a vampire.
Well, he might be like the little lizards in Florida.
Shadow City, almost everything in Shadow City is public domain or stock art except for the class art. And the class art is, I got it commissioned so that it would have a unique kind of World of Darkness feel to it on those things. And that was from Rob Necronomicon. He's a guy, I follow him on Twitter, great guy. He's got a lot of the stock art is from Rob Necronomicon. Great, very affordable. And somebody was like, how much money do you need to break even on this book? And I'm like, I'll break even on the first day. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about not breaking even. But yeah, it's just trying to keep things moving forward.
Hey, Chubby, I'm glad you joined us. I'm just going to ask if you can help us with something. So, we were going to follow up. We were talking all about ShadowRim, what we liked, and I think overwhelmingly all of us, including Lord Matt, would recommend it as a setting for Shadowdark. Maybe not your first one, but once you're familiar with Shadowdark and everything, it was easy enough to transition, jump into, even for somebody like me that didn't play Skyrim. But one of the things I think that was a little tricky, and it was the last big thing we were going to talk about, it'll be better for you to explain it, was the development of the alchemy system here.
Yeah.
Very unique and really feels like a game within the game. Can you address that for us and lay it out for people?
Well, alchemy is like one of my favorite things to do in Skyrim. I mean, this was my favorite thing to do in Oblivion. In Oblivion, I learned that alchemy was a recycling program. So you would just you would go into somebody's house and steal everything under the sun, and half of those items you could then turn into non-stolen goods by turning them into alchemical potions. So you'd steal, you go into, like in Skyrim, you go into one of the alchemy shops, you steal everything on all the shelves, you turn it into potions, and then you sell the potion you made to the person running the shop. Like it's crazy.
On my own fence.
Yeah. So that was just like an exploit in the game for a while. Yeah, like it was just something like I just love it. I feel like one of the problems with kind of tabletop as a whole is that players get a hold of the book, and once they know things, it's very hard to keep secrets from them. So the only way to make something secret is to randomize it at the table.
Yeah.
So I've had this thought about a couple of things of like having monsters, because Shadowdark descriptions are so light and tight. You have tons of space. So you could have kind of a description and a stat block, and then maybe a D6 table, and that determines what their ability is, right? So like if you had a goblin and there was a D6, so some of the goblins are going to be like this, and some of the goblins are going to be like that, and you don't know that until you get into the encounter. And you could make it so like the GM only had to make the roll once, not for like every goblin in the group, but so like these are goblins that are like firebomb goblins, and they're throwing flaming oil at you, and then these goblins are, I got this other ability, whatever. Stuff like that to keep it fresh. So the alchemy system is designed so that you're rolling it randomly each time. And my big mistake when we were running it live is letting them do it on a toe, because I should have insisted that it had to be like a monstrous toe, like a giant toe or a dragon toe, some kind of thing that would be hard to get, a troll toe. But once I realized right after I did, I was like, gosh, and now there's going to be
toe economy.
The economy of toes is going to get out of control.
For the record, I had those toes. I think I got them out of a chest or a barrel or something like that.
You did.
And I, in the theme of my character, was just keeping it around as like you would a bag of potato chips, right? I don't think it was my idea to test it for alchemical properties. Yeah. I think I was told that I could.
Yeah.
But that did create a toe economy, which is very funny.
Yeah. Next thing you know, the morgue is out of all the toes. No.
Now, if
all the toes are gone.
If we had not been a live stream, you guys could have been like, we're going to go out into hexes around Solitude,
harvesting toes,
and we're going to be gathering. Well, because there's all kinds of things you can gather. You can gather plants. You can gather. Fish scales. You can get all these things that, depending on what terrain type you're in, there's a bunch of different options. So you could have been out there like exploring, and all you're doing is gathering all these alchemical ingredients. I do think one of the things that I want to change about ShadowRim, and I could just house rule this until I do, but is to cut the price of healing potions in half, basically, to make it so it's much easier to have healing potions, because the lack of a cleric, it's not that big of a deal when you're level 1 or level 2, but when you're level 3 character and you're taking some serious heat, being able to have a cheaper healing potion option becomes
lesser and greater type of thing.
And I actually think healing potions are overpriced in almost every role-playing game, unless you're playing like OSE or some kind of real serious, like you're seriously gritty, But like if you're playing a game where there's as much magic as in some of these settings, like there would be a fuck ton of healing potions. It's just reality. Nobody would be hoarding healing potions if all this shit was real. Like there would be so many healing potions on the market.
Well, it would also probably change the face of medicine the world over. And
the idea that like it's going to cost you 500 gold to get a healing potion in some of these games. It's like, it's nuts. It would not, it would not cost that much. But there's that issue, and then there's a lot of the monsters were statted out with hit points under the assumption that you're using your con modifier at every level, and that was just I didn't like my brain when I read Shadowdark. I just skipped over that you're only adding it at first level. Right, just like the strength modifier to damage, I didn't even notice it at first because it's such a standard thing that it didn't even occur to me. So when I wrote ShadowRim, I was like, well, you just add your con to everything. Well, if you make your player so that your player is only adding con at first level and not at future levels, then that means that the monsters are now going to have crazily high hit point issues. There's things like that. So I would just house rule it so that like every level you get your con modifier also. Maybe cut the monster HP a little bit. But otherwise, I think all the systems we used worked pretty good. I actually made a miscalculation myself, and I'm looking at something I wrote over a year ago. So I'm like, man, I really made this giant spider venom like really strong. But then you're going to die and go on a death timer and get revived. So it's okay to do 1d6 damage for 5 rounds, because once you get down to 0, the damage is going to stop. Right? It's not going to just keep going. Now, you could house rule that like you can't come back from the death timer if you're poisoned or whatever, but I didn't, so when you were in that first cave, I had a giant spider, and I cut the damage on the poison ad hoc when I was like, I'm not going to deal 1d6 damage for 3-4 rounds. So I just dealt 1d6 extra damage and just called it a day, I think. But when we got into the cave near the end and I was looking at it again, I was like, wait a minute, he's just going to go on death timer, and then they're going to revive his ass. Mike's carrying around bandages to heal anything that, he's going to bring people back. So I was like, fuck it, 5 rounds. You're gonna get poisoned to death.
I'm looking in the book, searching for healing under potions. Healing potion is not on the potion table.
What? I'm gonna pull it up.
It's mentioned once earlier, and there's healing scrolls.
Oh, it's regeneration. It's regeneration.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, you don't get it all at once. It's just every round you're recovering rather than getting some huge infusion.
Okay.
I regret we never got to the point where we got to actually make something with all the ingredients.
Yeah, so like a regeneration potion is 75 gold.
I think we even picked a couple of those up at the first location in the very first game.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely had to drink one, so we picked one up.
I think we found a few, didn't we? We bought a couple and found.
And then a scroll of healing is 80 gold, and that's not lesser healing. That's like regular healing.
Yeah.
So the assets are there. It's just a matter of making sure players are aware of them, maybe bringing down the price some. But I like Edgelord saying, my wife is playing the horn so that she can heal. That's good. That's great. I mean, you have a party of a bunch of people. People should be trying to create niche protection. Be like, I'm the guy who does destruction magic and blows everything up. That's good.
But I mean, I think I think I agree. I would have liked us to delve a little bit more into that. And like you said, I enjoyed the hex crawling that we did. I thought that was kind of a break from, the norm.
It's very hard to do hex crawling on a live stream because you could go anywhere, run into anything. Like there's so many hexes that might be not appropriate for your level. So then it ends up kind of being
Run away.
run for your life type situation, which can be somewhat fun, but it could also be like come across as like an arbitrary just strike down on whoever gets caught by the whatever monster. Like that Spriggan with the bees, that could have easily if one person had gone over to that island by themselves, they would have gotten slaughtered by that thing. And all of you could have probably taken it out as a group, but like one-on-one, somebody would have been
Goner.
nailed.
Yeah, I think we surprised you a couple of times. We pulled victory out of the jaws of defeat.
I was more worried about the boat ride over there wearing chainmail. If for some reason the boat tipped or I was going to drown like a rock. So I had no interest in. I wasn't even worried about the bees.
I think he set us up with that. And what kind of armor are you wearing? How well do you swim?
Well, thank you for the kind words in the chat from Edgelord and is it Lil Siwa? I don't know how to pronounce that right.
Chris, he's a friend of mine.
I love Skyrim so much. It was more fun to write ShadowRim than anything else. Like I just like I want to be, I put in a casket and somebody throws a Skyrim CD in there with me, like as a memento. Like it is just iconic. I just love it, and I've played so many hours of it, and such a brilliant design, and it shows whatever they did, they don't do anymore for these companies, not even at Bethesda.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. There's so many things that we don't know that are happening behind the scenes. Something that was done by some team that nobody even really realized was doing all kinds of cool stuff. And all of these video game companies nowadays have fallen so far from the cool stuff that they used to make. It's really disappointing. But it is what it is. I can't fix that, but I can create it so we could play. It would be really cool.
Yeah, one of the things that Erudite had on his list is the video game feel. It didn't feel like a video game to me. It felt like like a regular, like we were playing a regular game of anything, and it didn't feel video gamey. We talked a little bit before you jumped in here about that first session. That was kind of where the things, and you fixed that. I mean, second session on, that was not a thing, but that was the closest I think we ever got to it feeling like you were, sticking to the video game side of it. It was.
Well, there were a couple moments, I don't remember exactly when they were, where I was like, and then the guy turns around and walks away, like in a video game, like boop-a-doo or whatever. Like it was like, I don't care about maintaining the realism. He just does this thing or whatever. But other than that kind of stuff, which I did just to like play it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta, oh, boop. Oh, you just pick it up. That's fine,
I hope we play
some of the stuff in Skyrim is like a guy will show up, deliver you a message, and then turn around, and you're just in the wrong spot. He'll turn around and walk away and just get mauled by a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
It served his purpose. He gave you the message.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I've seen some crazy stuff like that. What you're saying, Bacon, like where you'll be walking along, you're like in stealth, you're hunting, you got a bow, you're like you're like sniper mode, and some townsperson just goes hauling ass across the terrain, and there's a bear chasing after them or something because they happened their path got a little too close to the bear's path, and then they triggered a fight or whatever. Like there's so many like dynamic things like that happen. It's just great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I will agree with Lil Siwa again about the hex crawling. Like I was talking about this with Joe last night. Like there's certain things that are just not entertaining, but that are the some of the greatest parts of role-playing games. You know, sitting around coming up with a plan for how to kill some dude it's not really entertaining to the viewer, but to the people who finally end up killing that dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Of course, Joe likes a good shopping trip too. So
Yeah, he loves shopping and hex crawls and dungeon delves.
My son's asking if he can cook a pizza at 9:50 at night. I said no. He acts like I'm the asshole.
I think
it's me for my weird standards of no, we don't cook pizzas at 10 o'clock at night.
Ooh, I have pizza in there. I could go make.
He's got
take 20 minutes to cook us pizza. You're gonna be.
It'll be 10 after.
You're gonna
10
go right to bed. That's not good.
Eat some peanut butter, bro. Jesus.
Make a PBJ.
Peanut butter is good stuff for that.
Yeah.
Well, we want to wrap it up there. That went a lot longer than we thought. But
well, hit me within. If you've got criticisms, I really nothing will hurt my feelings.
I'm a bad guy for criticism because I tend to be Gadamarian in my approach to games.
Gadamarian.
So, yeah, there's that mayonnaise word
I also
again.
tend to be really pretentious.
Words.
No, so
brain on Brad.
I want to meet the game where it wants me to meet it, right? And so I don't really have a lot of criticisms because the game, if the game wants me to perform a certain way in order to execute on the rules, then that's the way that I'm going to perform. And I'm very happy to be asked to do certain things by a game. So I don't really ever have much in the way of criticism. It's just, this is the game. This is the way it wants to do things. I can say I like it or I don't like it. I like it. I like ShadowRim.
I spent probably 5 years, maybe 10 years making mods for video games.
Yeah.
Because I just cannot accept things the way they are. So I'll get, Civilization 4 was one. I spent so much time modding Civilization 4. And I was like, no, the French should do this, and the Germans should do this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just who I am.
Yeah.
And I had to eventually say, if I'm going to spend this much time doing it, I should do it for role-playing games where at least I'm in control of the product, unlike a mod that as soon as the game falls out of favor, nobody's playing the mod anymore anyway or whatever. Yeah. So that's how I kind of started writing role-playing game content, because I when I see stuff, I just go, oh, here's 400 problems I just saw right there. And that's been good for my YouTube videos for sure.
Yeah.
Although some people have accused me of being a little too soft on Rob Alderman. And they aren't around when Rob talks passive aggressively about how I commented on something. And he's like, well, some people have said that this part right here should be changed a little. And I'm like, hey, man, I was just telling you what I thought. But he told me to do the review. He was like, when are you going to do Gods of Forbidden North as like critical? And I was like, I know you, so I wasn't going to do that. And he was like, no, do it.
Yeah.
So
I would love to play in another game of this. I think the ideal person to run it would be somebody who is like you, who loves Skyrim. You know what I mean? I think that's the ideal person to actually be the game master, the referee, whatever we call it in this particular aspect. Bacon?
Huh?
Are you pointing at Bacon? Who are you pointing at?
Were you pointing at me?
Apparently,
this guy right here.
After Crispy does something with us, I guess we'll put that on the calendar.
Yeah, it would be kind of neat. I certainly would do it again.
Play. He never gets to play these days.
Some of the, I'm gonna have to tell him to watch this. There's a guy in my Saturday night game, David. I'm gonna pronounce his last name wrong. Przybilla. It's a Polish name, and he's a great guy. He's written a couple of Shadowdark dungeons. We've tested them we have a rotating GM ship in our Saturday night game. But some of the best time I've had playing role-playing games was him running Ambition and Avarice 2 which is like my heartbreaker of heartbreakers. And so to be able to just sit back and watch somebody else do your like thing, watch that is really, that's way more rewarding than doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Is because he just within the past week, some stuff has come up with OSE, and he's like, what game really solves that problem? Ambition and Avarice 2. I'm like, you're right, it does.
Yeah,
it does. Because the big premise of Ambition and Avarice is you're playing the kind of people that are really not liked in society. So some of them are outright criminals, like brigands. Some of them are kind of spies, like a knave that's kind of an untrustworthy court person. Then there's like savage barbarian type people, and then there's a whole bunch of spellcasters that just do things that polite society does not want you to be doing. Conjuring demons and taking people's souls and all kinds of crazy shit. Like there's a cultist that can sacrifice somebody on an altar with their dagger and capture the blood, and that becomes a healing potion, right? So they're sacrificing somebody to their god, and it just has to be humanoid. So it could be an orc, it could be a goblin, it could be
you just sacrifice everybody.
Like, yeah. So like if you capture a prisoner, now you've got one character who wants to sacrifice them, another one who's there's like a Viking type character that can make thralls, like the Vikings had thrall, like slave. You would be like a bondsman that had to serve out a time, and then you could have your freedom back. And so like the bondsman wants to like make a deal with this humanoid to serve them. The cultist wants to sacrifice them. There's all this like competing things for what to do with prisoners, because I really like it when people take prisoners and have to figure out what to do. I love that Bacon tied the guy's foot to his thigh.
That was funny. I forgot about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah,
the idea was to make it so he couldn't run away, right? That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Like I think it really shows, how people feel about certain things when they have they have somebody. They're like, what do I do with this person? Do I just kill them? Do I find some way to benefit from them? That's what when people complain that like there's slavery in Dark Sun, I'm like, slavery is a technology where you don't murder everyone.
Right.
So before we had slavery, we just murdered everyone. Like you can look at like tribes that were around before Egyptian civilization came along, or before Yellow River civilization in China, Chang civilization in China. Before those civilizations came along and were enslaving people, you just murdered everybody.
The Mongols did that, right? I mean, they killed all the men.
Yeah, it's much better to not murder everyone, actually. So that's my position on it in games. Like, I would much rather have a player take a goblin prisoner and find a way to make them useful in some capacity. Make them carry shit for them. Make them, put 15 quivers on this little fucking goblin, and he's walking around, and people are just pulling arrows off and shooting them off.
He's our little quiver guy.
Yeah, and doing whatever with a kobold or orc or whatever. Just killing them. It's boring.
Yeah.
So, now it's just gone. You can't do any funny voices for the guys. You can't have any interact. There's no diplomacy. There's nothing. So I'd love to see one of you guys run ShadowRim. I'd love to play whatever. I'd love to see it in action. Whatever you guys do. This is a great group of guys. Erudite, if you have Tim or Paul or Ken come back, there's all kinds of great guys to play with.
Vance may jump in and join us next Monday.
I do think. Did you catch what me and Joe were saying last night, Erudite, with Paul about extreme characters? We talked about my paladin in your game.
No, I didn't hear that part.
I said I think if you run live play, it helps if if the more characters you have that are just extreme in some capacity, like my paladin was just an extreme faith guy who just murdered anybody who was even smelled like a heretic, and having a character like that makes it more exciting for the viewer, because
it also gives you a really limited perspective or viewpoint to play in that 3 hours or 4 hours you're going to play, or 3 sessions, because it's not going to go on and on for 6 months or a year or anything.
That's right. Yeah. So who cares?
You're the player I can play this.
I thought it was great that Bacon's character was like, I'm going to eat some toes. I'm going to do this stuff. Yeah, like that's good. Yeah, play that up. If everybody's just a generic dude of average, I like to help people. Well, okay, all right, but I mean, I'd rather you have some kind of weird motivations, or you take everything to the extreme, like somebody who you can't control the volume of his voice, or just all kinds of just weird shit. Like that's what makes a character memorable.
I just did that Rondell dagger as part of the little weapon series I'm doing for Shadowdark, obscure weapons and things. And just, I didn't get a lot of this feedback, but just the idea that you would walk around and, mercy kill the wounded on a battlefield after a melee, because they're pretty mangled. They're not going to live anyway. So you're, the guys in plate armor, shove it in an armpit or in the visor or someplace, or in the neck, and give them a quick mercy kill. Most people are like, oh, you're killing prisoners. You can't do it. Well, I'm sorry, that was done all the time and thought to be chivalric in some cases. Other cases, not.
Yeah, mercy. It's showing mercy.
People rarely consider the alternative to whatever it is that they're criticizing. Like, how dare you kill this guy who was going to lie there for 12 hours in agony and then die? Like, what?
And then be stripped by the women and the children afterwards of all of his armor and everything.
Do you guys remember there's a video game called Neverwinter Nights?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. I love it. And there was some kind of like expansion or some new scenario where you were kind of like starting a new character, and it wasn't the normal start for the game.
Yeah.
And you were wounded after a battle, and you were laying there, and if you took too long to make a dialogue choice, the person who was going around cutting off rings and stuff off of people's fingers would cut off your finger as the start of the thing. That was how you woke up. Like, holy shit, this dude chopped off my finger and tried to take my ring.
I think I remember that. That was one of the official expansions, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very innovative way of,
Yeah, I loved that.
Dale, was it?
What?
It wasn't Icewind Dale, was it?
No.
It was one of the modules. There was
before.
There was
it was an actual expansion. Okay.
Yeah, so Neverwinter Nights was by BioWare. It was, you could actually run it as a DM, and
yep. I'm very familiar with
modding community. I mean, I was a beta tester for it, but remember they came out. So BioWare came out with some official adventures that you could get too. As well as the regular modding communities adventures that people did. So
yeah, I just found that it's Witch's Wake was a expansion for it, and that was, you started out, and it has here, if you fail the saving throw to wake up in time, you get your finger chopped off.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I remember that too. I think I played that one.
Yeah, that was cool.
Chubby, is there any truth to the rumor that your next project is going to involve a Shadowdark version of Grand Theft Auto?
I did say that I liked ideas like that.
That's a no.
Yeah, but
it's a hard no.
What happened? Didn't somebody say they were going to do like a Red Dead Redemption style?
Yeah, somebody said that.
Oh, I think they already have, huh? I know there's Star Wars.
I did talk with Gary and Lord Mattias about doing one. The issue is, it's very easy to come up with ideas.
Yeah.
It is
easy.
They're a dime a dozen, right?
Write the book.
Yeah.
right? So, like, I have a Western called Laredo that's half finished, sitting in InDesign files on my external drive that I just never felt like finishing. Back when I was writing Ambition Avarice 2 timeframe, I've got a map that I made that I thought would be really cool. It looks like Waterworld. There's all these little islands, but they're far apart, and you have to, like, you know, sail. And I was like, this would be a cool idea. Never developed.
Yeah.
I have had all kinds of stuff. Like, there was a setting that I worked on for a long time called Baneland, and it's one of my favorite maps I've ever made. I think it's a beautiful map, but I just could never get myself motivated to finish it. Let me share this map. Right, so really awesome map.
Wow, yeah,
That is a beautiful map.
And I just could never, you know, it's hard to write 200 pages. You got to really want it, you know.
Was that a setting book?
Yeah, I wrote this. This is like what I was saying earlier about you could print it as an 8.5 by 11 on DriveThru.
Oh yeah. But you never wrote the bock that for the
I've
rest.
written about 30 pages of the book, but I haven't written 200.
Yeah.
that's one of the problems.
That's a
Is
good
that what you
start.
usually try to cap out around 200?
Well, with Shadowdark, yes. With other chassis, it's not as reliable of a thing. But with Shadowdark, you got to think about what are you making? So, like, you're gonna make a backgrounds table, you're going to make races, you're going to make classes, you're going to make an equipment chapter, you're going to have a spells chapter, maybe you're going to have some monsters, you're going to have it's going to come out to about 200 pages, right? So if you come up with ideas for 4 classes, but you really want there to be 6 and you just haven't finished those, and then you have a few races, but not all of them. And you have some equipment sketched out, but you're like, I don't know how I want this to work and whatever. And you've got an idea for 3 magic items and half of a spell list, you know, and you just can't make it work. You know, that's life. It's like, there's a lot of things that you can't get all the way there. At some point, there's a threshold where there's kind of like I have to finish this now. Like, it's, yes. I've gone so far that I really can't live with myself if I just drop it at this point.
Like that right now.
Yeah, at that point you're switching over to kind of it being a grind and it being a hard thing. And the longer it sits on that, the more you hate that product, even though you're writing it. You know, like there was a period right near the end of Shadow City where I was just really fucking tired of it because there were certain things that were just very hard to finish. Everybody can come up with 10 encounter ideas, no problem. This is one of the reasons why I think this idea that people are going to use ChatGPT or whatever to solve all this stuff is nonsense, because you can ask ChatGPT for 10 encounter ideas and it'll give it to you. But if you ask it for 100 encounter ideas, it'll start to recycle itself. It'll say, well, there's going to be a mermaid, and then there's going to be a mermaid and a pirate, and then there's going to be a mermaid and a merchant marine, and then there's going to be a mermaid and a giant snail. Like it all just becomes repetitive because it's feeding off of itself. So I put a few prompts in sometimes a while ago back into Grok, and it just can't do it beyond a certain point. Like it can't be creative for long enough to do anything. But there was a part in Shadow City. Go to the encounter tables, Jeff. There are so many fucking encounters in this book. It is nuts. There are 20 neighborhood types, and each neighborhood type has a it's a D100 table, but the numbers are doubled up, so it's really a D50 table.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Airport. You've got an
Yeah,
airport.
yeah.
Commercial.
There's 50 encounters for 20 different neighborhood. Like
Creative.
it's a
Downtown.
huge amount of encounters.
Ethnic enclave. Financial.
Yeah.
Harbor. Historic.
Show one of the pages, Jeff, so you can see.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
Yeah. So it's like that for 20 different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It just took a long time.
I mean, this is just H.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It took a long
Tables
time.
aren't really easy to bring together. At least in my experience. Like you'll have a couple of ideas and you'll start writing your table out, and it's like, all right, there's 7, and I need 20, or I need whatever it is, 100. It's not an easy thing to sit down.
I think some people are really amazed when they see my equipment tables, like the Catalyst tables that are in the Shadowdark Player Companion, where it's just dozens and dozens of these herbs and all this different stuff. And what do you get if you have olibanum, which is frankincense in colloquial term? What do you have if you've got this kind of resin or that kind of resin? There's like 7 different types of resin.
That was the first book of yours that I ever read, and
I think incredible. It's called Styrax. I can't remember exactly. It's like a hard. It looks like jelly that's hardened, and it's produced by insects. So it's kind of like honey, but it's not tasty. It's just it has like an incense quality to it or something, right? There's all these different things, and that's a lot of research, because I did a whole bunch of research to try to figure out what all the what are all the things I could use as a herb or some kind of a little item. Garlic. Not just for vampires, but if you hold the garlic when you're casting this spell, then it does this other thing, so things like that, coming up with these huge lists, it's very challenging. You can get, be like, okay, I've got 85 items. I need 15 more items. Yeah.
I mean, this book is, I think you're 238 is the page count. Yeah. That's the last page with the rows, But and plus the inset, whatever the.
Yeah, I can't stop them from doing that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was looking here, and then I looked at the other book, and it's like, oh yeah, look, they were printed here in Tennessee. So, yeah, I'm like, I wonder if if ShadowRim is going to be printed in Tennessee too when they get it to me. I've got a shipping label finally. I ordered it.
I'm gonna have a bunch of copies of Shadow City when I go to North Texas this year, because I was on a tight time frame because of the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
I wanted it when the Kickstarter closed. I wanted to be able to just send out the coupon things and just be done. And I found a thing at the last minute that I had to fix. I'm not blaming Kelsey here, but Kelsey pointed out that something needed to be done from a license perspective on the page that had not been done right, as my fault. So I had to order it. Now, if you order one, you might get it in 4 weeks. So I ordered like 8, because the bigger the order is, the faster they'll print it. So I was like, I want them to like print this tomorrow and ship this shit to me, because I've told a whole bunch of people that it's done and they're just going to get a coupon as soon as this thing is closed. So I need this proof now, like I need this book. So on the shelf behind my head here, you can see those all.
Yeah, you got a few. Yep.
That's funny.
So I'm going to have a bunch of Shadow Cities, and I'll just be like, hey, you like Shadow City? Here you go.
Yeah. I want to play that. I'm looking forward to get to playing one of those.
I've had a few people tell me they want to play it. I still haven't stopped being bitter and hateful towards it in my heart for all of the pain.
Yeah, you've talked about that. You got to kind of let it.
You gotta let it breathe. You gotta let it breathe like a fine wine. You gotta let it out. Okay, I'm gonna come back later. It's tough because, like, as a reader, you know, like you're getting the book for the first time, you're like, wow, this has got this and that, and like
It's a breath of fresh air.
The person who wrote the book has looked at that page
7,000 times.
Yeah. You know, yeah, it's not new and exciting anymore to them. It's work. You know, how many files do you make for your job that, like, after a couple weeks you're like, I'm going to go back and reread that document that I used in my work? No. So Shadow City was more work than normal at the end, so it has a special. But I mean, everything you make, you love. You started down the road because you love it. You know, like I love playing vampires. I love doing this stuff. It just gets in your head after a while. Like you're like, God damn.
So is that going to happen now with Shadow Sun? Now that you're diving back into it, so you're not gonna.
It's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
There's going to be a period when I'm playtesting it and I'm like, got to see if this works and do this, and then there'll be a point where I'm just like, God damn, this is still not finished. You know?
I hate this thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the scale. Like when you go through a spell list, right? You're like, oh, there's all these cool spells. Think about it. If you have 12 spells per level and there's 5 levels, then that's 60 spells.
Yeah. And
that's how much there is for just arcane magic in Shadow Sun. Then there's, how do I decide whose stream to watch?
Watch them all.
Marvin, what's up?
You can open one in each tab.
I'm not streaming to my channel, so that takes 1 point out there. Like,
hey, Jordan.
Yeah. So in addition to the arcane magic, I have a nature magic, which is its own 60 spell list, and then there's the psionic powers, which is its own 60 psionic power list. So that's 180 items that have to be balanced against each other. That have to be calibrated. You go through. You say, oh well, this needs to be reduced from from 2d4 from 2d6 to 2d4 damage, because 2d6 is too much, because this other spell over here has this for the same tier. It needs to be this thing, and you're going back and forth and you're scanning, and then not only are you checking that, you're checking all the layout is all right on all of those things, that that there's no errors, and that it's phrased the same way every time on all these different instances of the same idea. Like, for instance, if it says this, you can't use this against somebody that's your level or greater, right? So if it's a level 3 spell, so you're a level 5 caster, and if you try to use this spell on a level 5 character or better, it won't work. Well, you come up with some sentence structure to express that, right? Like, this spell does not affect targets that are whatever, blah, 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 whatever. Well, you can't just like make up the phrasing every time. You have to copy that from, you write it once for this spell, then you copy it, then you replicate the same language for 8 other instances.
Like almost a style,
those
the
things
format,
are just such a pain in the dick. It's crazy. Like, because it's not just that one. There's hundreds of things that you're trying to keep track of. Why are terms bolded versus italicized? Why are they underlined? Why is this? What's a hyperlink? Is it italicized and in a color? That means it's a hyperlinked item, or is like all this shit that you're keeping track of, and it just becomes so painful at the end when it's 200. Now, when you're just writing the outline at the beginning and you're like, and I'm going to have this class, and I'm going to make an ancestry that works like this, and it's going to be great. Like, that's fun. That's all. Woo, yay. But when you're at page 228 and you're trying to just get that shit done, it becomes like, God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good size, I think, that what you do.
I think it is. Yeah,
I think that's about it feels like you got your value, you got your money's worth. And this is the hardcover. I've got the paperback. I ordered both. I was like, yeah, I want both. So I got the soft cover on the shelf, and I've got the hard cover here in my hand, and you feel like you got your value. Sometimes you don't get that feeling all the time, Knave. um,
Well, that's like I was complaining a second ago, right, about the encounters, right? But
Yeah.
having made all those encounters, I've had people tell me they bought this book and they use it with Vampire the Masquerade just to pull up random encounters.
Yeah.
Because there's
That's
hardly
cool.
any random encounters in Vampire the Masquerade as written.
Yeah. I think when I had you on Sci-Fi for Me when you were doing the Kickstarter
Yeah.
for this, you showed the whole the mapping with the what was it, the point where you see if I could find it here. Here that style.
Yes.
I love that concept. I have never seen it before. This was the first time I had ever seen it.
I also love it. Yes.
It's such a unique the site outline. I love the concept of it, and it would work no matter which way you're doing it. It doesn't have to be for, a building going up.
Well, there's some great guys out there that have made kind of Traveler, Star Wars, Dark Future, Shadowdark hacks, right? Like it's out. There's I can't remember the name of. He just sent me a message on Twitter the other day.
That's what I should do. A Shadowlawn 5.
Harry Stanford did a Kickstarter for one that's like Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of them for future stuff, and so then it becomes like, well, of course everybody's like, well, I could make the best Star Wars hack. I could do it because I'm super awesome. But it becomes very hard to compete in a space at a certain point, right? And you can't just replicate things. So I had for a long time an idea of doing Jedi type characters where Ars Magica or Pendragon is the idea. We're not like D&D.
Yeah.
And so like there would be a Jedi type character and they're very powerful, like Ars Magica Mage or the Pendragon Knight, but then they're going to have lesser characters that they're traveling with, or so like there's going to be adventures where the Jedi is spending all their time dealing with some other thing, and you're their like assistant, you're their grog, to use Ars Magica terms. Like you're not the big head honcho guy, you're just you got tasked to go to this place and do this thing and then come back, and create it like a troop play where the Jedi is not always present, because the Jedi always being present kind of fucks up the Star Wars story. But you want them to be there, you want them to be around. So I think finding things like that is a way to. That's how you get unique settings like Dark Sun. I'm borrowing a lot from Dark Sun, and I'm sure people think that I'm copying or stealing from Dark Sun or whatever, but I have amazing respect for people who are able to forge new, totally, out of nowhere, this totally new setting that you're going to be blown away by. Like, that is very, very hard to do.
Yeah. And
the idea that you're going to do that at the start of your career is nutso. All people have this idea. I've got this idea for my magnum opus. Don't write your magnum opus when you're in your first 2 years of doing the thing, right? You need work on things that you think you can do well, and then eventually get to the point where you're like, I have the money, I have the skills, I have the ability. Like, now I can do my really unique, innovative, groundbreaking work. If you try to do your unique, groundbreaking, innovative work when you're in your first year of writing, it's gonna blow ass,
Yeah.
So don't do that. Write equipment lists that you can do, like write things that that are within your skills and capability, right? Make a small dungeon. You're not going to write Arden Vol on your first roll out of the door. It's going to be, here's a 8-room dungeon with some cool shit in it that I thought of. But people just they try to reach for the stars, and you can't. You got to. It's a skill like anything else. You're not going to design the Golden Gate Bridge as your first bridge either.
Right. No.
You're gonna make it, like,
You'll be lucky if you get to be the guy that built the bridge in the park across the little little creek.
You start out with County Road 48's bridge over, Butt Creek, and then eventually you'll make your way up to Golden Gate Bridge.
Is that on the ShadowRim map also? Butt Creek? I didn't see
Butt
that.
Creek, yeah.
Yeah, bridge over Butt Creek.
Battle of Butt
Next
Creek.
module.
Well,
Butt
there's
Creek.
a Butts County in Georgia.
Well, I'm sure there is, yeah.
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 It's some general or colonel or something in the Civil War or something. I don't know. Mr. Butts, and they named it after him.
I grew up near a Butt Lane, B-U-T-T.
Yeah.
There's a Ron White bit where he was like, I found out the other day there really is a bumfuck Egypt. It's like, oh man.
He was funny. I loved
He's
Ron
so
White.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Taters. They call me Tater Salad.
Call
Was he
me-
Tater Salad? He was Tater Salad, wasn't he?
You can't fix stupid. Stupid is forever. Great one.
Yeah. Well, I like the Andor. He wants Elder Goblin Games wants an Andor style campaign. Hey, Andor. I like Andor, but
I liked the first season of Mandalorian,
I did too.
and then I got betrayed by that shit. And that was the second betrayal after episode 8, where I basically swore off Star Wars forever. And then somebody who was a good friend of mine came to me and was like, you really have to watch this Mandalorian show. It's so freaking good. And I'm like, I've been punched in the face a bunch of times. I'm not really interested in being punched in the face. And he was like, I'm telling you, it's good. And so then I was like, okay, so they rope-a-doped me in with that first season. And then second season, they went right for the face again. I was like,
Yep.
God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Rise of Palpatine or
Exactly.
the Ryan Johnson fiasco. But
Andor is good though, and it's over.
Andor is-
I've heard.
You don't have to worry about it getting bad.
I don't
and
want to
you-
be rope-a-doped again. I don't.
I get it.
want
I get it. I get it.
And it wouldn't make a bad setting a bad type of
Yeah, I
situation.
love Rogue One. Rogue One was
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
If they could just make more Rogue One type movies, just one-off movies, doesn't have to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
For one movie, give it to a person who knows how to, make movies. That would be good. But I almost it's like they're dead to me. It would take an epic resurrection at this point.
Yeah.
I'm fine with just knowing Rogue One and the first trilogy and playing D6, Star Wars D6, and just be like, this is it. This is all there is.
I've never played. I know we were talking on my stream. I had Matt and Gary, Lord Mateus and Gary Lewis. I had them on. We were talking about space themed. I called it Bards in Space. But we were talking. Gary's a huge D6 Star Wars D6 fan. And I'm like, I've never played a Star Wars role playing game. I think it would be fun. But you're right. I don't want to be a Jedi. I want to be like a Han Solo, man. Han Solo was my, that was my.
The
Underworld.
novel series of the Han Solo and the Corporate Sector Authority, I just loved the hell out of those books. That was so good. Like, for people that don't know, Corporate Sector was like a part of space that was all run by corporations rather than the Empire, and the corporations paid a fee, paid a tribute to the Empire, basically, so that they weren't being governed. So it was like the Wild West for government. It was just this crazy thing. Yeah, a great place for Han Solo. Holy crap! And it was just fantastic. And then when Disney bought the property, they were like, all those books are no longer in existence. We don't give a shit.
The EU,
the Jedi Academy trilogy. If Disney had bought Star Wars and made the Jedi Academy trilogy of books into a trilogy of movies, they would have made $18 bazillion. It would have been insane. Sure. They could have just printed money with Mickey Mouse symbols on it and just given it out. It's insane. And they were like, we're going to throw this in the trash.
Well, that was Kathleen Kennedy.
So people that don't know, so the first scene of this, the whole trilogy is basically Luke rebuilding the Jedi after the Battle of Endor. And it's all about he wants to actually establish an organization, not just guys living in a swamp or in a desert. We're going to have to actually train people to be Jedi again. And so he's going around trying to recruit people. So the opening of the book is he goes to this lava planet, and there's a guy there who the legends are that this guy has some kind of magic powers, but nobody knows. So he's looking for candidates of people who would have power. So he goes to this planet, and the guy can use the Force, right? So Luke's trying to recruit him, and the guy's what could I learn from you, right? And so Luke is let me demonstrate my abilities to you. And the guy challenges Luke to just go across this lava field. So there's this lava field, and there's rocks floating in it like icebergs, right? And he's all you have to do is get across. So Luke gets halfway across, and a dune sandworm-sized lava worm comes out of the lava and starts attacking him. And he's jumping from rock to rock trying to kill this thing. And it's this massive, awesome battle, right out of the gate. And how awesome would that be for your opening scene of a movie? It's just incredible. And they just threw the book in the trash.
What would a lightsaber do to a lava worm?
Exactly. It was a very tough battle for Luke.
Yeah.
And Luke ends up killing this lava worm, and then the guy goes, "Okay, I'll come to join your academy." So then you cut to that. So that's your opening action cut sequence, and then you go into your full story. And they could have just printed off money, just been come get the Star Wars money, but they were no. We're gonna fucking ruin this shit.
We're gonna make it for a new audience or a modern audience. That's the term they like to use. Yeah.
The worm is gonna have body issues, and it's got self-esteem problems, and Luke has to teach the worm to love itself. Fucking hell.
We talked about that on Sci-Fi For Me TV all the time, where we kind of celebrate that Kathleen Kennedy is finally gone. She's kind of like a lich. I don't know. She tends to return all the time. She's got a philanthropy somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's
kind of like celebrating that Castro's dead, but nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, and with Dave Filoni, I was a fan of Ahsoka up until the live action one. I watched Rebels. Sabine is not supposed to be a Force user. She's not a Jedi, damn it. I'm sorry. I refuse to accept it.
Filoni can't help returning to his own characters over and over and over again. He's best when he has direction given to him, not when he's the one responsible for providing the direction to others.
And guess what?
So
he's in
I
now.
think that Star Wars is in such a state at the moment. I'm not really positive about anything. Andor was fantastic. I really like Andor. So there are moments. Bad Batch was great.
I love Bad Batch
that it has. But as far as Filoni goes specifically, I'll believe it when I see it.
Rebels. I loved Rebels. I loved. In fact, I went back because of Rebels and watched Clone Wars. I did not like the animation style of Clone Wars.
Yeah, my son is a big fan of Clone Wars, but I never really. I suspect that at least 80% of my dislike for Clone Wars is my dislike for that guy that played Anakin in the prequels. What's his name?
Oh,
Hayden Christensen. That guy just blows ass.
He's actually, from what I understand, he's a pretty decent guy. He was doing what he was directed to.
Fair enough. I don't know personnel. Yeah, I don't know any of these people. Yeah. I'm also not familiar with any of the Atlanta Falcons. But I don't.
You don't personally know every one of them on the team.
I don't have any fucking clue what they're up to.
Yes.
Hey, I could have mentioned Star Trek. We got rid of Kurtzman. Maybe that one's coming too.
I have watched only a handful of Star Trek episodes, and is just not my.
You want to torture yourself? Watch
the
this.
Black Lodge guys have told me to just watch watch all of the original series, the very original one, and then just stop. Don't.
That's a very good recommendation.
As soon as Shatner's out, just cut it off right there.
See, now
I also like Deep Space. Like, I'm a Trek guy, so I've seen all of it. I do like quite a lot of it. But telling you just to watch the original series and stop is not a bad recommendation.
I even liked Enterprise, although they did not hit the city in Florida that they claimed that they did. I have to agree that.
Well, I really liked Shatner. I liked him in
T.J. Hooker. Boston Legal.
Oh man, he was hilarious.
Denny Crane.
Denny Crane.
He was awesome.
Yeah, I'm okay with what the other guy, what's his name, but Shatner carried it hard. I mean, every episode he delivered.
Mad cow.
Yeah, the best lines. It was out of control.
Yeah.
My son keeps writing me little missives on piece of paper as if I'm gonna deliver his jokes to the audience or something.
He's probably trying to tell you the pizza's ready.
I was just going to say, isn't it cooking the pizza? Shouldn't it be done by now?
Yeah.
If you made that pizza, you'd be eating it right about now.
Yeah, he would be actually. Yeah. He might even give you a slice.
Yeah, but it all goes back to Star Wars, Mike, because it's such an enormous loss.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah. That our generation of nerds suffered. Yeah.
It's like the Lord of the Rings for me and Amazon or whatever.
I am very comfortable with never having anything else written or televised for Lord of the Rings. Yeah. The Lord of the Rings is what Tolkien wrote. The movies are great. The Peter Jackson stuff's great. I even like The Hobbit. I know it gets a lot of crap. I like those movies too. I am very comfortable with there just never being anything else. I don't need there to be anything else in that world. I don't need it.
Yeah,
we have what we have, and if I want to read The Lord of the Rings, I will go back and read The Lord of the Rings.
Now, if they went back, and God help us, they may still try to do this, but if they go back and remake like the trilogy with the Rings of Power type delivery,
oh God,
and they just brutally maul the source material, then Lord of the Rings will be elevated to Star Wars butthurt level.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what they're trying to do. I think
they already did it. Yeah, with what they did with Rings.
And I mean,
I'm just ignoring it all.
Really,
I'm content with the books. I'm content with what I have.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bacon.
I was just saying I'm good with what I have. I'm content with it. I don't need, if they do return to the well, I will never go and see a Lord of the Rings movie. Yeah. I will not see a television series. I don't even give a damn if they do any Lord of the Rings video games. All the PlayStation 2 stuff is good enough for me. I don't need anything else.
And they could announce Firefly season 2. And I would just be like, look, for my own sanity, I can't take a risk watching this. I just can't do it because the potential for you guys to stab me in the face is so high that I'm not even gonna click. I'm gonna mark it as don't show me this ever again on your face. Like, I'm not interested in this. Put this in the category with tentacle porn and romantic comedies featuring Dane Cook. No more, none.
Yep,
It's
we're
not
done
on
with
my
those.
feed. I don't want to see it.
I agree.
The end.
We're worried about a lot of the IPs like that. I mean, I'm in the middle of a Babylon 5 rewatch, and we do that every Wednesday. This Wednesday we actually have Peter Jurasik coming on.
Yep.
So we're totally stoked about that. So we're not going to talk about an episode. We're going to talk all about Peter with Peter. But there were rumors at one time that they might reboot the Babylon 5 franchise, and really, I don't think that story-wise they could do much better. I think they'd be better off taking the maybe the existing and going and updating the CGI. I think that would probably be, they could do that and just make it like a super awesome edition or whatever, because the CGI is dated. I mean, it came out in 94, 95. That is when it was done. So
but they can't do that.
What are you talking about? Yeah, absolutely no.
It's because the people who were writing it don't care about it. Like if I do something for Shadow Sun that I inadvertently break some element of Dark Sun canon hard in a way that I didn't mean to, and somebody goes, hey, you actually can't do that because there's this other thing over here that you're not thinking about. My response would be, you make a good point, and I'm going to adjust it to respect the original thing. I'm not going to be like, well, this is Greg's way, and who gives a shit, right? I wouldn't make Dark Sun, for instance, type stuff and put a bunch of metal in it for obvious reasons, right? But these people don't have respect for the original property, so they will intentionally break it because they want whatever that is that they want to tell. Like, so if they want to tell the story about the body issues of that sandworm, they will destroy the entire canon of the property so that they can tell the story of the inner life of this worm creature, because that's their goal. The property is just a skin suit that they're wearing to tell the worm story that they want to tell. And I wish they would just make their own fucking worm story and leave our shit out of it.
They're attaching themselves to an IP because they that's the only thing that they can't come up with their own. Yeah, it has eyeballs.
Yeah, and then just like if I wrote a vampire movie and the whole time one character just endlessly goes on about how Star Wars got screwed over, that would be me putting my own concern about Star Wars into the vampire. Like I would not be doing it right by the vampire movie, right? Like you got to respect the thing that you're doing. You can't make a romantic comedy and use it as a vessel for your discussion of model trains. Like it's just not like, don't do it. Like just make your model train movie, and then that's fine. Like if you want to do that, but I don't know why they have to take something else and wear it as a skin suit in order to do the thing that they want to do.
Oh, there's an installed audience.
It's just ridiculous.
That's it. That's all there is to it. They know that they're going to draw a whole bunch of people with Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, or whatever it is. It's a built-in audience.
Yeah, but one of my favorite George W. Bush quotes, "Fool me once, can't get fooled again."
Good night, Jordan.
Only served me a turd sandwich one time.
Yeah, true.
And then I will not be ordering turd sandwich from you anymore. Like I can't be tricked. And I don't know how many times they won't be able to do a Ghostbusters remake that I go and see. They won't be able to remake Footloose and I will watch it. They won't be able to do a Back to the Future 4 and not fuck it up. I just
Ocean's 11, it could be Ocean's 5.
They've served so many turd burgers that there will be no more eating at this restaurant. It's just not gonna happen.
I have to say,
down.
the new Top Gun 2, that was the way you were supposed to do it.
That was all because of Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise. He respected the original property, and he insisted that it be respected in the new property.
Yeah, and this Cobra Kai too.
Contrast that with Mark Hamill, who did not.
Yes, he did object, but then he kind of, whatever. And now I can't even.
If you object, but then you still do it, you really didn't.
You're complicit.
You didn't object. Yeah. If Mark Hamill they'd come to him and they said, "This is what we're going to do," and I'm going to say, let's assume that he actually honestly felt the way he says he did. If he had turned around and walked right up to the press and said, "I am refusing to do this role because they are treating this character with such utter disrespect and turning him into a bitter old man for no reason. It is ridiculous what they've done to this character, and I cannot be a part of it."
Yeah.
He might have actually saved it.
Yeah, he could.
That's the only thing that could have possibly is if Harrison Ford had said, there is no way in fucking hell that Han Solo is going to have somebody with 12 cents of education on how to do things turn around and tell him how to fix his own ship in his own cockpit as a more highly skilled 8-year-old than him.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Yeah,
even bigger than that, imagine your legacy being having the capability of putting Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill together in the same room again and not doing it.
What a missed opportunity.
Imagine that. That's J.J. Abrams' legacy. I think that will overshadow literally everything else that he's ever done. He had that opportunity and didn't do it.
And they fully expected to do it.
Yeah.
The actors fully expected to have that moment, and they never got it. They were denied, and then, of course, Han's character was killed off. Carrie Fisher died, literally,
And it's one thing when it's like Chewbacca, where it's like, what could you say? What could you do? I'm not going to do. Well, they'll just get somebody else to be Chewbacca.
Yeah,
but if you're Han Solo, and you can say, I will not participate in the destruction of one of my most cherished roles.
Well,
he didn't like the role.
Well, yeah,
but I'm cherished by others. Cherished
by others. Yeah, like that people love this character. I am not going to, but he did it with that. He did it with Indiana Jones. He should have said, I'm not going to be a part of this Indiana Jones thing either. But he didn't do it because these people are more interested in, Mike, Nero. Yeah. But Luke came first in the chronology of character destruction. And Mark Hamill should have said, I am not going to take a character who threw down his weapon and approached his own father, who was a mass murdering psychotic, and said, I still believe that you are a good person, and I still believe you're worth saving.
Yep.
And I'm going to stand there, like that scene where he turns off the lightsaber and just throws it on the ground and says,
tosses it behind him.
Not going to do this. That is how moral I feel about this. That character is then going to turn around and become a bitter person who wanted to murder his own nephew for having a bad thought once.
In his sleep.
It is insane. Yes. And so Mark Hamill could have just said, I will not be a part of this, and gone and said it to the press. They're assassinating my character. It's wrong. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. That's the only thing that I can think of that would have even had a chance of stopping it. And he didn't do it. So I don't care what he feels about it now. I don't care if he gets up and says, I feel bad about, I also don't care if Pinochet felt bad. I also don't care if Che Guevara felt bad about something. I just don't care.
Hugo Chavez, yeah, well.
Yeah, I just don't care. but yeah, they had a chance to do something and they did horrible things. So I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know why we have to feel empathy for every person on Earth, regardless of how fucking terrible shit they did. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Who is the Falcons quarterback?
Who is what?
The Falcons quarterback. He's
your buddy there, Greg.
I don't give a fuck.
Isn't he? I thought he was your best buddy.
There's a cartoon where there's like a sports announcer and there's a sports reporter down on the field and they're having this conversation. They're like, what's going on down there? Well, they're sportsing very hard out there today, and if one team sports is harder than the other, they're going to win this championship. And they go, that's great. Let's go back to the booth. And it goes back up and he says, there's a lot of great sportsing going on today. And I'm very happy to be a part of the sportsing and all this stuff. And it's just worthless conversation back and forth. Like, that's how I feel.
Then they cut to like the after game.
Little league games where when the kid catches the ball, they have this look of amazement on their face. Like, oh my God, I caught the ball.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's why I really like
worth watching.
That's why I like college ball, college football and that because the kids are still, although this whole
they're pretty jaded nowadays. Maybe when we were younger they weren't that jaded.
Yeah. Nowadays it's almost become too big of a business. Yeah. The college ball has become a business now more so.
It was always a business. They were gambling. It was all about gambling in the 1890s, and it hasn't changed since. But
That's
I like
true.
college football.
But back then,
crooked as shit. It's always been that
They
way.
played. You had the early pro teams would play the high school teams, or the college teams would play like pro teams, and they'd play whoever they could play back then.
You guys had Dixie and Swanee colleges near you and Jeff in your part of the country, but I don't think they're even around anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we should probably wrap it up though. We've been going a long time. I got to get a pizza down before I go to bed.
apparently,
limited time here.
Thanks for swinging by, Chubby. Before we go, I actually wanted to make one quick plea to the audience. At 11:30 tonight, so in like 30 to 40 minutes, on the Shadows of Arconia Presents YouTube channel, a very good friend of mine, Chris, is going to be GMing his Operation Noir Index Card RPG adventure. So if you're interested, please do tune into that. He asked me to mention it, so I'm mentioning it.
Drop a link in the chat.
The link is actually available in my own description. So if you're watching this on my channel, it's in the description. If you're not watching it on my channel, you can go over there and pick up the link.
If you're on your channel, drop it there and it'll show up on the screen. So,
and thanks to everyone for listening in. I know we went in a bunch of different directions, but I think it was all interesting. I think they did too, because not a lot of people dropped off. We had like 25, 30 people on. So
yeah.
That's good. Please like all the channels and subscribe to them. And there's the link.
And let me do mine on Wednesday. I've got Peter Jursic coming 8 o'clock on my channel, Tennessee Tabletop Tavern. If anybody's got any questions for Peter Jursic, get them into me now while you can.
Now, Mike, being a Texan, you might know, can you go get like a big belt buckle with TTT for Tennessee Tabletop? Get it like engraved. We could get some of those so that Jeff could have them for promos and stuff. And what kind of cost basis are we looking at here? I don't wear big Texas stuff.
I'm not really a rodeo time. I don't even own a pair of boots, so not really my thing. I was born in New Orleans, but I live in Texas. Always have. So
I didn't realize Peter Jurisic was in Tron.
Yes, he was. He was.
Yeah, he was.
He was Crom. He was also in 25 episodes of Hill Street Blues and 13 episodes of the spinoff from that Beverly Hills Bunts, I think was what it was called. Apparently, it didn't make it a whole season. Yeah, right. That's what I said. What was that show? I don't remember that one.
Beverly Hill Buns. Was it about hookers or what was that?
No, Bunts. So that was one of the characters from Hill Street Blues. The cop. He retired. He moved to L.A. or something like that. So so he's
People always retire and move to L.A. Oh well, that was today's different.
Yeah. Well, this was when Hill Street Blues was on. That was the 80s. So,
Right.
but definitely we're hoping to have a good turnout. And I've already talked to him. I already have a promo on my channel for it. And he was so gracious, and oh my God, he's the nicest guy ever. He's not got that condescending. Nothing about him. He's the nicest guy in the world, and you're like, why can't actors be like that today? So, and we're looking forward to it.
That was a
We're
big
really
score
excited.
for you. So looking forward to this, and then seeing who you come up with next.
Yeah, well,
Pressure.
we're working on it. We're working on it. If we do well with this one, we might be able to get some of those guys that people were going, no, you didn't get so and so, did you? And we're like, well, I can't say yet. Now I can. So Londo Malari himself will be on Tennessee Tabletop Tavern. Also be simulcasting on Sci-Fi for Me TV, and of course the home of the Babylon 5 retrospective, which is Sci-Fi Snob. But we're going to be streaming it on all three, and looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. We're 2 days away, so. But
We'll be watching.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
everybody. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Monday night. We got the whole week ahead of us. I'm excited. Stay warm, and hope nobody loses electricity or anything else out there.
12 degrees outside here in Tennessee right now.
Stay warm.
Yeah.
Take care,
Just
everyone.
remember, you need 3 torches to make a fire.
Do you? 3 torches? Okay.